Hello everyone, welcome back to the Captain Logan Show. It is me, Captain Logan. And joining me as always is my fantabulous chat moderator and producer. It's the man with way too many Blu-rays behind him. It's DJ Martinez.
Oh, you've been talking to my wife again?
Well, I guess when I say too many, I just mean lots. with so many. And you know, like I could say that about mine as well, except let's face it, there's more DVDs back there than Blu-rays.
No shame, no shame. And I'm kidding. My wife
I thought you were going to swear. I really thought you were no.
No, this isn't the Nick
Secret
Fury
Invasion
Disney. Yeah, I was trying to think of the name. I couldn't even think of the stupid name.
Dude, I had that every time I announced it. I could not come up with Secret Invasion to save my life. It was driving me crazy.
I literally said Nick Fury Disney Plus show. I couldn't even think of the name.
Yeah. Yeah, Nick Fury, agent of Disney Plus. Nick Fury. You gotta say it in air quotes now, Nick Fury.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was listening to that again today. I still haven't made it through, but I'm almost there.
Oh my god. Well, thanks for listening. I don't know how you could possibly consume that without looking at the show, but like, don't look at the show. But that's got to be the most nonsensical and totally random and wasting your time we've ever been on camera. So, like.
Which says a lot if you've seen 250 episodes of this show.
It does, yeah. Well, in a 285, sir.
Oh my gosh, 285.
Yeah, right.
At least we have the viewers' questions, the viewers' great questions for this show.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say I've done a couple of crazy, silly late night streams with no real theme where I was maybe drinking a little bit, and those get kind of crazy, but. This was one of those on steroids. So I don't know. I kind of want to say, like, I'm sorry and you're welcome, simultaneously. Really just depends on what camp you fall in. Anyway, that's a really good segue to my super chat goal announcement. You're welcome. Absolutely. I apologize. No, I
love it when you compliment my segues. It happens more than... I mean, they're all accidental, so I can't take credit for it. But
you're taking too much credit for it. I just mean that came up, so here's the segue. Tonight, we're going to do a $120 super chat goal. That might sound a little hefty for this. We'll see what ends up happening. But I think that's about, we did 1 or 120, I can't remember, for Secret Invasion. So we're going to do that again now for She-Hulk, which I threatened back when we did that super chat goal that if that went well, and I mean, I don't know if you want to say it went well, but it happened. We did it. The show went well in certain ways and not so much in other ways, mostly just because of the content we were forced to look at. Anyway, we're going to do the same thing with She-Hulk potentially in November. So if we hit that super chat goal tonight, I will promise that early to mid-November, Austin and I will watch She-Hulk. He's already said that he'll do it, so I'm holding him to that. I didn't even tell him we were doing this tonight, but I'm holding him to that. Otherwise, it'll be me all by myself, and I'll make it as fun as humanly possible. But I can promise that
depending on a day, I might want to join you for that one.
Oh, you're totally welcome. Absolutely. So we're gonna.
And I can do shots with you. Austin
okay.
doesn't.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, that's true. He doesn't. We'll do that in November. He's so clean, that guy.
Yeah.
We'll do that in November if we hit that super chat goal. If we don't hit the goal, it doesn't mean we'll never do it necessarily, but I'm not going to promise it that early. It probably won't be until next year sometime now. But I decided to go ahead and throw it in tonight because of the Daredevil news. And DJ, I have been really perplexed and bewildered lately on the channel by this obsession with our doing a speculation cast. This started with Secret Invasion, and it just keeps going. We're like, Cap, you have to talk about the new Daredevil show. I'm like, there's nothing happening. There's nothing talking. It's not out yet. We don't know anything. And now I'm starting to think that maybe people knew stuff I didn't, because with the news we got today, I heard about lots of details that I didn't know before, and I don't know how much of that is stuff that leaked along with this news when Deadline and a couple other places reported on it, Variety, or if it was stuff that everybody else knew already and I just wasn't enough in the loop and hadn't been paying attention, didn't realize it. But things like the way that Foggy and Karen Page are being allegedly written out of the show. We knew that was happening. I didn't know the unfortunate, terrible sounding way they're doing it unless it's part of this overhaul. I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll talk about all of this in a minute, but there's some details like that. I'm not going to talk about this tonight, but there's a whole cast list that I didn't know about. So apparently there actually were some details that maybe we could have talked about if that wasn't all the stuff that just came out like a couple of days ago when this news about Daredevil being, put on hiatus, and nearly everybody being fired, and I say nearly everybody, but the actors are being fired. The creatives were losing the showrunner. We're losing the writers and the directors of that show. They made like half of it, and they finally decided, yeah, this isn't working. We're going to start over. We're going to talk tonight about the various reasons that might be happening. People are saying surely it has to have something to do with the end of the writer's strike and the what am I trying to say? The deal that the Writers Guild, that the writers got with all of that, because they wouldn't really be able to move forward the way they were with that, but it didn't mean that they had to scrap everything they had and start over completely. So it can't just be that. But anyway, so now I'm maybe starting to see why people wanted us to do a speculation cast, DJ, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do this. We're just gonna talk about this news tonight, and the few details that we know about, but I'm not going to speculate super hard about story, although I do have a couple of ideas about things that they might be doing with that show, not story-wise, but just, format and structure and stuff.
Jeez. See, I was going to give the audience credit. I thought they manifested this news with all of their, demanding of it.
The timing for things lately has been really shocking. Really
sober.
Really strange. Like last week, we reported on and discussed the news about the Spawn movie with Blumhouse, that it's looking more and more like that's actually going to happen because they've kicked Todd McFarlane basically to the side. And that news came out just after we announced that we were going to cover that movie on the Superhero Rewind Commentary Project, which we're doing tomorrow night. Quick plug for that, and that's on your screen there too. We're doing a double feature tomorrow night starting at 9 o'clock Central Time. We're going to cover Spawn, and we're going to cover Mystery Men. These come out 2 years apart, and that's really the main thing they have in common is just they're both late 90s superhero movies. Spawn we're doing because it's kind of Halloween-y, and Mystery Men we threw in because that was a movie that was asked for when I did a super chat thing for a Smallville 24-hour stream. Pardon me. And I asked people to that I hit super chat goals to suggest things that I've talked about before to come back and do a re-review on, which we're doing now in commentary form. Anyway, that wasn't interesting at all, and we'll just move right along. So 9 o'clock tomorrow night, though, we're doing that. But yeah, so that timing was really weird, and then this Daredevil news comes out 2 weeks after we do Secret Invasion, and people are begging us to do a speculation cast. So now, suddenly, I'm forced to talk about this thing that I said I wouldn't talk about because we didn't know anything. And now we know some things. So anyway, thanks a lot for being here tonight, watching live. We sure appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching after the fact. If you're doing that, we're going to talk about this Daredevil news. I'll read a couple of articles. We'll discuss it for 15, 20 minutes or more, depending on interest and what people are talking about in the comments. And then we'll take questions, geeky or otherwise within reason, for the remainder of the 2 hours of the program. We'll take a break about an hour in, and you guys know the drill. If you want to make sure that your questions, ideas, concerns, complaints, confusion, or just random prattlings are discussed on air, you can leave a super chat in any dollar amount that guarantees that we'll talk about that stuff. You don't have to do that, though. We appreciate everybody who has done, ever will do that. You guys are wonderful. Thanks for keeping the train running here on Geekvolution. And once again, if you do that, you will be contributing toward my torturing myself some more, if people are to be believed anyway, because I haven't watched one frame of She-Hulk yet, but people say it's awful. We'll do She-Hulk next month, get us to $120 tonight, and then if you leave just regular questions, we'll try to cover some of those as well, especially if there's not a ton in the way of super chats, but we'll try to cover at least a few of those regardless. Okay, DJ, let's go ahead and look at the news that is fit to print. So, as we were just alluding to, just discussing, here is the Deadline article about the Daredevil reboot. What I'm calling, DJ, the reboot of the reboot, because Daredevil Born Again was already in and of itself kind of a reboot, soft reboot, however you want to look at it, of the Netflix Daredevil show. As far as we understood it, I have said going all the way back with the initial announcement of this that I didn't think there was any way they wouldn't be really vague about what counts with the Netflix show continuity-wise. I figured they would be really ambiguous about it. And what I'm reading now is that apparently a lot of the name change had to do with a loophole so that Marvel didn't have to pay the people involved as much. That if they changed the name enough, they could claim it as a brand new show and not the next season of the original show that they now have the rights to because it reverted from Netflix, and they don't have to pay, they can go back to season 1 numbers, and they don't have to pay people as much. I don't know how much truth there is to that, but I'm seeing a lot of ruminations about that in what I'm reading today. And we'll see some of that in the articles that we.
What if they just get all of the cast to switch roles? Can they then pay them less? Like the Electra girl plays Karen Page, Foggy plays Stick.
Well, and it sounds nickel and diming pretty hard, considering that nearly everyone is either being shoved out of the show or recast. Besides Daredevil and Kingpin, and apparently John Bernthal is coming back as Punisher. I didn't know that until today. But I'm sure that will just be in a cameo capacity or like a one-off episode or something. Who knows? But yeah, like Vanessa Fisk is being recast. Foggy and Karen Page again are being thrown out of the show entirely. I don't know how they thought people were going to have goodwill about that. Doesn't this... I know I go back to... I'll read this article in a second, but I know that I make allusions to this when we talk about soft reboots all the time, and people are going to roll their eyes again when I say this. People are going to SMH at me, DJ. They're gonna shake my head. They're gonna shake their head.
Shake your head.
They're gonna shake my head. Don't grab his head, Tick. That doesn't work on anybody. But it's that trying to please everybody and risking pleasing nobody thing that we did with Star Trek 09 all over again, where it's like we want to reboot, we want to recast a lot, but we don't want to leave the fans out. So we're going to do it our way. It's going to be a totally different thing, but we're going to try to keep enough that it will somehow appease the fan base. I still say, and this might be good news, don't get me wrong, because a lot of what we know about what was shot already sounds pretty awful, and I'll talk about some of that here in a minute. But the big reason that they're doing this is probably at least partially because of the new standards and practices with the Writers Guild. First of all, they're not going to be allowed to use as few writers as they had. That's the first thing. When you're past a certain episode count now, you have to have at least 5 writers, and so like that has to have something to do with it. But again, they wouldn't have had to fire everybody over that. They could have kept what they had and just added some people and changed some of the standards moving forward. But I forget where I was going with all of that. But the big question I have, and then I'll go ahead and read this, DJ, is are we gonna go ahead and axe the episode count now? Because the original conception of this was procedural, more procedural than anything they've made so far, and it wasn't going to be just a big serialized movie stretched over a bunch of episodes. That's why it was supposed to be 18. Well, they shot at least 8. What we've heard is less than half, so that'd be 8, or maybe 7, but like close to half, not quite half. And they're going to keep some of what they've shot, and they're going to keep apparently even some entire episodes. So like that's maybe some reason for concern right there. That there's a big question as to whether we're doing this creative overhaul for the right reasons. Like, it sounds like they just need to start over from scratch. I remember what I was going to say a minute ago, which is, from going all the way back to the beginning of this, I thought they needed to scrap the Netflix show entirely and just do their own thing. Just recast it from the ground up, reconceptualize it, not draw so many comparisons to what they had in the first place, because for the ravenous fan base that loves that show, and there's a lot of us, you're not going to make us happy if it's not that show. And they're clearly not making that show. So what they're thinking is, we're going to lose the base we had already if it isn't Charlie Cox. Yeah, but you're going to lose them anyway, and you're going to make them angrier if it's not anything to the quality of what was there before. And even if the show is good, if it's not, I hate to say dark, because that sounds maybe too simplistic, but like, if it's not sophisticated enough, if it's not dark enough, if it's not edgy enough, for lack of a better word, you're gonna lose that group anyway.
Yeah, I agree. I would rather have seen like a Mark Waid take on it, go a little more out there, go a little more fun. Still the same character, but he's in a different kind of world, and then you don't have the comparisons, because they didn't do good at Netflix anyway. Like, they did it good once, and then they lost it anyway. So like, that dark version's been done. Let's do something else.
It feels over. Yeah, that's the thing, is I don't need more of that show. When people say like, well, this is, and it may be good news, don't get me wrong. If it sucks, and they know it sucks, and they know that they're not gonna be able to get viewers back on their side, because the last few things they've done, very few people like, especially Secret Invasion, they're making the right move in overhauling this and basically starting over and getting a whole new creative team on it. But the procedural idea in the first place wasn't a bad one, to make it a little bit more episodic. Like, when I heard 18 episodes, I went, that sounds like a lot, but it's cool that they're doing something different. And like, they can't stretch their stories too far, I wouldn't think. If they have that big of an episode count, that means that they're probably plotting more episode to episode, and we could have ended up with what happened with New Trek with Strange New Worlds. And I haven't been as high on that in the second season as I was the first, but immediately New Trek got better when we finally just went back to the old formula of telling stories episode to episode, even if we have a good sense of continuity and we've got some kind of character arcs and things going over episodes. Suddenly, at least, it started making sense, and it wasn't decompressed, and it wasn't boring as sin, and that was nice. And so I was thinking, well, maybe that's what's happening with Daredevil. But DJ, apparently he wasn't even going to be in the costume until episode 4.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That seems more serialized then. That doesn't seem procedural.
No, you're not right if it's procedural in the sense that it's all courtroom drama.
Literally,
so,
yeah.
If each episode of the first 3 episodes had just no superhero stuff in them whatsoever, but that seems like a crazy thing to do when we haven't. I mean, I know he's had cameos and things, but when we basically haven't seen that character in like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
It seems pretty nutty that you'd have a show called Daredevil Born Again. You're not even going to see the, Daredevil part. You're not going to see how he's been born again until the 4th episode.
What I picture when you say a Daredevil procedural is like the first third of the 03 movie. Like, he has a case. He goes to the court. He tries to do it the right way. It doesn't work. So then he puts on the suit at night and then takes care of it that way.
Yeah.
And that's
now it's blind justice. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that's what I thought when I said procedural. It's like a Power Rangers episode. You try it without the costume first with the putties, and then you can't do it. So then you put on the suit.
Right. Yeah. Kingpin escalates the fight. And now it's morphin' time. Yeah, exactly. And then he gets giant in the 3rd act.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. But if Stiltman shows up.
He just starts giant in the first place. He's Kingpin. But yeah, like, I would even be okay with a courtroom drama where there's not actually fights every single episode, but to wait that long is nuts. That combined with and again, this is all alleged, but combined with the reporting that Foggy Nelson and Karen Page just both get killed off screen before the show starts, you're not going to make anybody happy with that. Like, what are you doing? Just if you don't want those characters, I don't know why. Like, they were recasting other characters. It's like, this is main Daredevil supporting cast. I don't know why you don't want them. Originally, my assumption was maybe they were actually going to be thinking more about the events of that show in the first place, and they were trying to come up with some cool way to bring them back later on, where, like, they'd write them out, and then they'd make a big deal out of they finally come back or something. No, apparently they were just going to kill them. They just don't care about those characters anymore. Okay. Like, what are we doing? Just conceptualize a show without them, I guess. But I also don't understand why you wouldn't want Foggy Nelson in your Daredevil show. It's at least Foggy Nelson.
Yeah, he's his sidekick that grounds him to the real world, and is some levity in the show, for goodness sake.
Yeah. So I don't know. I wanted a reboot in the first place. So, like, I'm not over the moon about this news like a lot of people are, but don't get me wrong, like, it's potentially good news for this show. And make no bones about it, I don't think I can over-exaggerate this. Netflix needs a... Disney Plus needs a win with the show.
Netflix, too, honestly. Any streaming service is pretty down right now.
Yeah, they're all in bad shape, really. If Disney Plus does well, maybe people will think about watching Netflix again. No, they have to get viewership on this show. It's kind of their last chance to bring back any goodwill for the Disney Plus stuff. Otherwise, they're really going to have to go back to the drawing board and decide if they even want to keep doing TV shows. Because the way their numbers have been, like, they're throwing money at this stuff, and they're wasting a lot of it. And it looks like they, maybe with the new deal with the Writers Guild, they're going to have to be a little bit smarter about how they spend their money anyway, because they're going to be forced to give more of it to the writers. But, like, not in a significant enough way that you won't probably still see Disney, making $200-300 million projects that could have been done in 50 to 100. Like, I think that will still happen.
I would love to know, and we'll never know, but I would love to know how much of this reworking of the writers is due to the writer's strike, because I know that they had to concede a lot to the writers, and one of them was, like, having to have not as many writers on a thing, and not having writers' rooms where they just, like, throw a bunch of people in a room and, like, make them come up with an idea, and they had to get rid of all that stuff and, like, have smaller groups of writers or something. So I'd be interested to know how much of that played a role in this whole scrapping everything and starting over.
Well, and I was talking about that a little bit, DJ. It's actually more like the opposite, where if you are past a certain episode count, you actually have to employ more writers who get more of a piece of the pie, because the problem before was you could have showrunners that weren't really writers. They've done away with that. You have to be part of the Writers Guild to be a showrunner now, and a showrunner is an actual a recognized term now in a way that it wasn't before. So that's all really good. And you can't have these tiny rooms of just 3 writers anymore that split everything amongst them, because the problem before was writers just couldn't get work, couldn't get projects, and weren't getting paid enough for the stuff they were doing. So it does worry me a little bit with that you could end up with things being done by committee, like, even more than they were before. But I understand why it took me a while to get it. I understand why that rule is in place, and it isn't like every single episode has to be written by 5 people. It's that you have to divvy the workload up amongst more writers so that you're not overworking like 3 guys, which was happening with too many shows. And that's part of the reason that they did that.
Yeah.
So, as I said a minute ago, or a few minutes ago, that is definitely one of the reasons this happened. But you don't have to fire everybody over that, which means there's more going on than just the writer's strike.
Yeah.
And you're going to see shakeup in a lot of shows with this, certainly. But, like, just because the show up to that point hadn't been working under the new guidelines doesn't mean that they're being forced to scrap all of it. Especially because they can use the footage they have. They're going to use entire episodes they've already made. So it can't just be that. But that's definitely part of it. Absolutely.
That is a perfect segue into this first super chat if you want to read it.
Sure, I still haven't actually read anything, but I think I think I brought up a lot of the details I wanted to talk about. My sources are Deadline and Variety, and then I'm gonna look at some D'Onofrio quotes here in a minute, and I also want to read a little bit from this Forbes article. So anyway, go ahead and read that, and then I'll get into these articles.
All right. Well, speaking of scrapping, Robert Wild, $5 super chat. Please just scrap Daredevil Born Again entirely. I just wanted Daredevil season 4, and now I wish I never asked for it. I don't want it anymore.
Yeah,
You've broken Robert.
As I've kind of said already, like, I don't agree with that. I don't need more of that show. I felt like it wrapped up well enough with 3, and I mean, DJ, you said earlier, like, it already kind of lost the plot somewhere. That was true in season 2. I think 3 brought it back okay. I think that's a solid, it's not anywhere near as good as 1, but it's solid, and it's a fine ending to that show. I just wish we could have I just wish we could have rebooted. You should watch it. I just wish we had rebooted entirely. And also, 3 is a really good, sort of like Rises, except I don't like Rises, but it is much more building on season 1 and as a sequel to 1 than anything in the second season. Kind of like Rises goes back to Begins. So, like, even if you haven't seen 2 in a really long time, or, like, you don't remember anything from that, like, it doesn't care about 2 either. It's really building a lot on 1. Because I watched it immediately after I did a big rewind project on the first season of Daredevil, and I didn't remember anything about 2, and it felt like I was just watching the second season instead of the third. Yeah, so do yourself a favor and check it out at some point. I think you'd appreciate it. It's more of a slog than 1, certainly. I think it could have been done in maybe a couple of less episodes, and I don't really care for their bullseye, but the Kingpin stuff's good. So, I mean,
does he have a bloody costume?
It's worth it for that. No, he doesn't. That was part of the problem. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Yes, it was. Anyway, thanks for the super chat, Robert. I appreciate it, man. So let me look at.
We have the weirdest super chat we've ever got.
Oh goodness, really?
For the next one, I can't wait to hear your answer.
Can we save it off? Is it about this?
No, it's just randomly about Daredevil.
Okay, can we save it off a second?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Apologies for waiting on that super chat, but I want to finally read an article because I've been saying for 10 minutes I'm going to read an article. So anyway, let me just jump.
Can't read an article.
That's right. I sure can't. Let's just jump to this Variety article. Vincent D'Onofrio says Daredevil Born Again overall isn't big news, and I'd be worried if we were settling for less. So he's really downplaying this, which is kind of par for the course for D'Onofrio. And look, I like him a lot as an actor, but he has been really apologetic about the MCU stuff, and it sounds like it's just because he's very excited to be working. And, and to just get to play that character again. I shouldn't say that because he gets lots of work. I mean, he's in all kinds of stuff. So it's not that, but he has sounded a little bit in denial about all of this, and this is just more of that. Vincent D'Onofrio says reports about Born Again undergoing a creative overhaul are not actually a big deal, as such changes are common in the film and television industry. You know what's not common, though? You make half a season and then you fire everyone. Yeah, no, that is big news. I'm sorry, Vincent D'Onofrio. Now, that doesn't mean that the show will suck, and it doesn't mean that he's wrong and that they shouldn't be settling. Like, if the show's not working and it's not good, then they should absolutely do what they're doing. Even if part of it is because of new Writers Guild regulations and stuff, rules. Like, absolutely. But to say it's not a big deal is just very silly. Because, yeah, it is. This doesn't happen every day. So it's just, by definition, it's unusual. It's kind of a big deal. He says, unless you really know what's going on, there's a chance you could be wrong about the statement. I don't know what he means by that, by this, about the state. I guess just that it's happening. He says, we are going to bring forward the best series we can, one we can be proud of. Have some trust, my friend. Trust. Yeah, no, not so much, though, because the MCU has not been delivering in my book lately, particularly on Disney+, and it just hasn't been very creative-driven. Hopefully, whoever they hire to fix the show it will be a lot more creatively driven, and then I will have reason to be cautiously optimistic. He says, every cool project I've been involved with has evolved constantly during pre-production, production, and post. It's just reported on these days as if it's big news. It's not. It's a bunch of creatives doing their best to get it right. They got fired.
I do agree with that statement, though, in general.
What do you mean?
Just like us making a big deal about literally everything that has always been happening. We just haven't been making big deals of it.
Yeah, so...
Like, oh no, it's getting reshoots. Yeah. So
yeah, but it's more complicated than that. The problem is sometimes it's a big deal and sometimes it isn't, and you really can't actually know until you see the final product. And even then, you don't always know why things turn out the way they turn out. So yes, there is truth in what he's saying, but this particular example is too extreme to be like, there's a nothing burger here, let's not even talk about it. You know what I mean? Like, it's very unusual for a whole writing staff to get fired.
Yeah.
That's unusual. Like, you can't argue with that. It's
not unusual to be fired by anyone.
The fact that that you'll have reshoots real late in the game on something will sometimes be because we're scrambling real hard, we're making, decisions at the 11th hour because we don't think things are working, or we're responding to random things people are saying online, and that's not good. I mean, like, there's bad reasons that happens, and then sometimes it really needs to happen, and we've got great new ideas for how to improve a thing. Sometimes you should, like, I look at this all the time when I'm reviewing movies. There have been, I want to say, almost as many cases of a production looking at like early screenings, when they have like random people watch their movies and then take do surveys. There's been like as many examples of that being something they should listen to as when it shouldn't be something they should listen to, and it's all just totally case by case. Like, sometimes you'll see that and it's like, why did you listen to those people? Like, just put it out for the people that want it. And then sometimes it'll be absolutely the right move.
And hindsight is 2020. It's so easy to look back and be like, well, duh.
Yeah,
but
sure. Yeah, but I do think it just sounds like Vincent D'Onofrio doing his own PR to say this is not a big deal. Don't worry about it. Like, you can't say this is just creatives changing. The creatives are gone. We don't even know who's going to be working on the show anymore. They haven't hired anybody yet. Yeah. That's crazy. That's what's different about it. It's the same thing as when Solo got rid of its directors, and then they made it a completely different movie. Like, you can't say there's nothing to see there, because it would have been interesting to know what that movie would have been. It was a completely different thing.
Yeah, but I mean, what's he going to say? He's not going to badmouth the company he's working for. This is a job.
Well, sure, but he didn't have to say anything. It wasn't an interview. I mean, he just goes on Twitter and has these rants about how everything's great and also, but I also don't
Twitter.
like.
We keep bringing up how horrible Twitter is on here.
Yeah, I love D'Onofrio as an actor. I don't mean to go after him, or whatever. And he's not being super disrespectful to anybody or being unprofessional when he says that. But it just seems like something of a silly statement to me when he's like, no, just trust it. Or he says, have some trust. Trust in what? You know what I mean? Like, the people that have been making this stuff lately have not been making great stuff. Who is there to trust? You, the actor? I trust that you're going to do the best you can with what they're making you say.
Yeah, and I trust the writers are going to do the best they can, but they aren't given time or, like, leeway to do anything these days. Everything's so locked into what has to fit into this terrible plan.
And I don't trust that they'll necessarily be the right people to do it either, because Marvel's also been hiring not very good writers for stuff lately. Like they've been getting a lot of flack for Rick and Morty writers and stuff, and it's true. Those are not the guys that should be the architects of their universe. And then Forbes had an article called, of course, this is an opinion piece. The alleged aborted Daredevil Born Again opening sounds horrible, by Paul Tassi. He says, we may have dodged a bullet with the return of Daredevil if these reports are accurate. Initially, the plan did actually sound kind of interesting. I agree. It would be a bit more grounded with Matt practicing law and taking actual cases, while Kingpin would deal with the problems of ruling as the city's mayor. And I do like that they're adapting that. But then the two would get sucked back into their old lives as situations arose. And then this is where we've got the thing about his not putting his costume on until episode 4. Reportedly, Daredevil didn't even wear his costume until episode 4 of the series, which seems odd. But past that, many film insiders have been teasing the reason for that, or just saying it outright. While this may no longer be happening, you may still consider it a spoiler if they go that direction. Hopefully they don't. And they may or may not do this. There's really no way to know until we get more information or until the show comes out. But because, like, I don't know if huge status quo things are going to be different, or if they're going to start with the same premise but then make it more serialized. Because that is one thing that that came out of this is, and like I said earlier, and why I'm not sure they'll do 18. Because they're like, well, the procedural thing isn't working, so we got to go serialized. So then I'm like, okay, let's not get too overly excited yet, because what they could end up doing is kind of accidentally or otherwise go back to the formula they have had lately, where they write a movie and they stretch it over 10 or 18 episodes. Like, you don't know. That could happen. The reason Matt hangs up his Daredevil suit, it says shoot, but that's a typo. It's Forbes. Come on now. Is because
Maybe he's adding a parachute to his suit.
He's got to hang up his parachute. Is because Foggy and Karen are shot and either killed or seriously injured off screen as the show begins.
So he's just going to be a sad boy Matt in the first 4 episodes, and he's not going to want to put on a suit.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. Now, I didn't notice that before because I kind of skimmed this. I guess it's possible that one or both of them are not dead and they're just injured, but it sounds like they really want to write them out, and they don't want to work with those actors anymore. So
cloths all on them, and he goes to visit them in the hospital, but they're completely covered up, so they're played by different actors. They can't speak. They're in like a coma.
Oh no, it's the Smallville season 8 thing with Lex Luthor, and then they'll just get cloned over and over again.
Yeah, well, and then they'll go off to a peace conference, and we'll only see them in silhouette at the sunset.
Austin says, I did always want more courtroom stuff from the Netflix show. Yeah, me too. I mean, I do agree with that. But
well, you're getting 4 episodes of it.
Yeah,
strap in.
Apparently, I'm sure that'll be the first thing they change, right?
Well, I'm hoping they do exactly what they did with She-Hulk and take the 8th episode and recut it to be the first episode, so we can shove all the action in the first episode.
Oh no, I forgot people said that happened. Because, like I said, I haven't watched any of that yet.
I've seen it. It is rough.
Oh no! Did you watch that whole show?
No, I just watched the first episode, and I was like, I'm not watching any more of this.
Okay, what was that other super chat that you said was bizarre? And then
very pressing, very pressing.
And then we'll start taking questions about anything. Sorry, I rambled on too long with that opening.
Well, I would love you to ramble on about this question
boy.
As much. I really need your...
I forgot the gong from earlier. Hold on. That was from the other super chat we had.
Derek Williams.
Yeah.
199. Which Elektra is hotter, movie or TV show? This is so easy for you because
Yeah,
it was like one of your first loves.
If I have to be this superficial, I mean, I don't mind doing it for the sake of the question. But yeah, they're both attractive women, certainly. But I definitely in high school had a crush on Jennifer Garner, so I have to. And I think I don't know her name, but the actress that plays her in the Netflix show is definitely a little bit closer to what I might think of with that character from the comics in build and stuff. She's still not that character, and everybody complains about that, and I agree with it, that we still have not really had a off the page accurate Elektra. Mm-hmm. But Jennifer Garner is a little too tall, too big. She has kind of the Wolverine problem, really. I don't think of Elektra as like super tall.
This actress is named Elodie Young.
Oh, I guess I never knew her name.
She is French. Or no, she's Cambodian.
Oh, which was interesting.
Interesting. Yeah, I thought she had Asian in her, which is... Because what is Elektra supposed to be? I've never read her in the comics.
Say again.
Is she supposed to be fully 100% Greek? Like, is that her?
I
Like
thought so.
The comic book character?
Yeah, I thought so.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. But I knew your answer for that one because you've talked about before how Jennifer Garner was a big influence on young Cap.
But that's just, personal taste, I guess, in women, but not to say that she's better for that part.
Yeah. Well, that's not what was asked. It was just which was hotter.
That's true. Yeah.
So you understood the assignment.
Yep.
All right, shall we talk about something else?
That wasn't as crazy as I expected. You buttered me up a little bit too much for that.
I've
gotten those kind of questions before. I've gotten the, and I guess I'm not asking for a big like open the floodgates for these kinds of questions or anything.
All of them. We need to hit the super chat goal tonight with just these types of questions.
But I guess I don't mind that as much as the who would win in a fight question. I guess I like that slightly better. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, I hate to be, ultra superficial.
Well, who would win your heart?
Oh.
Is the question.
Yeah.
And you answered it.
Now, who would win in a fight between those two Electras? Definitely the TV show one. But Austin says, I don't like either Electra, nor do I find either super attractive. Now we're just finding out, everybody's personal preference in women. That's what the show is tonight,
He was too
folks.
young for the Jennifer Garner train.
That's true.
She was big when he was 3.
A kid, yeah. No, he was a little bit older than that. He saw that movie when it came out. He was 6 or 7.
Yeah, but I think that was like the peak of her. Like I think she was big before that, or starting to. I guess she was.
No, she had her TV show before that, but right, or was it just after?
Alias was before that.
I think Alias was before that, but I didn't know about her until Daredevil. Not really. I didn't watch Alias.
We should go back and see if we can see any connections with Lost.
Oh sure, another one of those things that kind of ruins everything. Like I like Jennifer Garner, but then we had Abrams kind of ruin the universe, ruin a couple of universes really.
That's true. It's very true.
Omari Daniels, and isn't Jennifer Garner supposed to be in Deadpool 3 too? Yeah, that's been the rumor, or maybe that's officially been reported. I don't know, but I keep hearing about that.
I hate that so much. Like it's not cool. It's only cool if it's a surprise, guys. Stop spoiling it for everybody.
No, I'm with you. I hate that. It was, and the first, I know I've talked about this a lot before, but the first huge disappointment I had with that kind of thing, DJ, and part of it was because this sucked anyway, but when we got the 5-part CW Crisis and we started hearing reports on cameos, and we didn't know that they'd all be cameos, the hope was that some of them would actually kind of get apart and get, more things to do. We just heard, actor after actor that was coming back and reprising old roles like Knox in '89 and Huntress from the Birds of Prey TV show, et cetera, et cetera. And it was hard for me not to get excited to see some of my favorite characters from things show up again in this multiverse thing. Where maybe they could build this cool team and do something with it. And I was trying not to get my hopes up, but I probably did just a little bit, and that was awful. But not only was it bad, but there wasn't one surprise. I mean, there was a laundry list of these that was probably like 20 strong, and I had heard every single one of them over 5 parts of television. They couldn't surprise me with one of them.
Yeah, I hate news.
That was terrible. Yeah. But then we do this show. I don't know why you've been doing this with me for this long, because like you hate the stuff we talk about on this show.
Luckily, I'm not as invested as much anymore. If it was like the second and third MCU phase and all this stuff was getting spoiled for me, I would be much more upset. But yeah, it's like I'm not seeing these things anymore anyway.
Well, so that's kind of where I'm at. And if it hadn't been for CW Crisis, I probably wouldn't be as down on some of the nostalgia crossover things that we're doing. Maybe I would trust some of that more, because I don't hate it on principle. We're just it's too gimmicky, it's too plot twisty. We're not doing any of those, or very much of that anyway. I don't want to be too blanket statement, because there have been a couple things here and there that have been cool, but most of it's only Turtles Forever and things like that. Most of it's older. I probably would have cared more about the Spider-Man thing and would have trusted that a little bit more if I hadn't already been burned with CW Crisis.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I mean, hopefully it'll be cool, but I just couldn't get excited about it. And then I didn't love what they did with it. But I liked it better than Ghostbusters, which was 2 weeks before that. And utilized, and that's not exactly a crossover thing, but it's that nostalgia bait, bring back the old team thing. And at least the other two movie Spider-Mans don't show up for the last minute of the movie and shoot at Ghost and then leave. It was better than that.
That would have been great. Just swing in and punch Norman Osborn and then fly away. No, what would have happened is he would have literally pushed the button on his glider again. Tobey Maguire would have pushed the button, and then he would have chopped him in half again. Remember that?
Yeah.
Okay, we got another super chat. Another pressing
matter. Isn't it sad that? Sorry, I'm gonna say this real quick. Isn't it sad that because of unfortunate, awful choices that certain actors made and then got outed with Me Too, that we couldn't have had silly things like bring back New Goblin? Because we're gonna go that far anyway. I wish we could have had New Goblin in that movie.
Well, then what they would have done is they would have given him a new look. They would have said, "Oh, that old look was horrible," and then given him a new look that was just as horrible, like they did with Electro.
That's exactly what happened with Electro.
Everyone talks about how cool that suit was. I'm like, what are you talking about? It was like gears strapped to his, duct tape to his body and then it just one time made the little lightning 5 thing. It was terrible.
Oh yeah. Well, and do you remember when Jamie Foxx confused everybody, where he was like, "Okay, I'm playing Electro, but it's not the same Electro." And then it was. I don't know what he was talking about.
Well, he wasn't playing the same character, but
no, I'm convinced that he wasn't lying when he said that, but he at no point making that movie understood what was happening in that script.
Yeah, he just decided I didn't like that character. I'm going to completely change the character.
Completely change it. Yeah, because I took it at face value. I thought he was talking about story stuff. I thought he was like, I'm playing Electro from yet a different universe. Because that movie goes, oh, we've opened the floodgates to all these different Spider universes, and only characters from the two movie franchises that have been made bothered to show up out of the vortex. And he made it sound like the other things were going to show up. Nope.
Yeah, it was really funny. It
was really funny.
It's like he didn't even go back and look at what he did in that movie at all. He was just playing it as Jamie Foxx. It was great.
Yeah, he was having a good time. I thought his performance was a little infectious, just because I could tell he didn't give a crap. He was like, I'm having fun.
Yeah, he's like, this stupid Spider-Man movie. I don't care. I'm just gonna have fun.
I respected that. I really did.
But yeah, we got another important super chat here from Derek Williams again. To be fair, which Kingpin is hotter, movie or TV?
Oh man, that's not fair. First of all,
gotta go movie.
I can't. Yeah, but I'm a heterosexual dude. I don't know how to do that with dudes. I don't know how to do it. I don't know what attractive men like. I know what the CW has told me attractive men look like. Okay, but I don't actually. And other guys at least claim they can do it. They'll look at somebody and they'll be like, "Look how super attractive that man is," and I'm like, I don't know. I'm not attracted to men. I don't really know how to do that. I need somebody to explain that to me when guys are supposed to be because I've heard people go, that guy is so pretty or whatever that he could like really attractive women in the right circumstances get anything he wants. And I'm like, I couldn't have told you that just looking at him. I need people to tell me that. So I can't do that. But and then you're comparing two guys who look very 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 different. But yeah, probably the movie one. Yeah. If I have to gun to my head, if I have to do that,
I feel like if he walks into a room, everyone looks at him and stops what they're doing. If D'Onofrio walks into a room, it's just like another schmoey, bald white guy. I don't feel like he would. He doesn't look. He's a really good actor, but by his looks, he doesn't look I don't know.
Well, especially because he's a chameleon, that guy. I mean, I've seen him in
absolutely.
stuff where it took me half the movie to realize that's who I was looking at.
I
And so he
watched.
really uses that to his advantage. He's not an unattractive guy. What do I know? I mean, I still feel like I can't tell you what an attractive or unattractive guy looks like. But
I mean, just
D'Onofrio,
what
with
would you want to
him,
look like?
his presence, it's all about the eyebrows. You know, he's got this really intense, at least as Kingpin especially, he's got this really intense look he does. But you're right with help me out. Michael Clark Duncan?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that guy just walks into a room and commands a room. Like,
Yeah, I feel like he could do whatever he wants. He could pick you up right outside the elevator and stick his fingers in your eyes or whatever he does to that guy.
that's true.
But I saw my favorite performance by
That wasn't even a stunt. He just did that.
from D'Onofrio is in The Player from 1992, and I didn't even know he was in it until I saw his name in the credits. He's like completely a different person. I don't know how he does that. And multiple different people. He's always a different person. It's very weird.
People are in the comments are saying that I'm like straighter than most and and protesting too much. No, it's not like that. I feel like I'm bad at that.
I mean, I just look at him and I'd like to look like that guy. And whatever guy you'd like to look like is someone that you think is attractive.
I guess maybe I'm weird. I don't think about it like that.
I mean, I don't think about it either, but if someone asks me, I guess.
Well, I just mean that like I've never really had a. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting too personal. I've never really I don't think of myself as like an especially vain person. Like I don't think about my looks that much.
Yeah, that's great.
And so I don't look at other people and be like, "Oh boy, I wish I had that face or I wish I looked like that guy." Like I'm kind of I don't know. I'm comfortable enough in my own skin. I mean, there's exceptions. Like I wish my eyes worked together. I get self-conscious about that. I get self-conscious about the fact that if you look at me, I've got a lazy eye, and you might think I'm not looking at you. I've got that.
Yeah.
And like anybody else, if it turns out there's like something gross on my face or my hair is more unkempt than I thought it was, I'll be like, oh no, I guess I should go fix that so that I'm not making other people uncomfortable. But I don't think about looks that much. I don't know.
Well, me and Cap, come this Tuesday, are doing a tier list on attractive male actors.
Alex
So tune in
Barron
for that.
Alex Barron just said that. He goes,
Yeah,
Cap should try to
that's why
make
I
a
said
tier
it.
list. Oh, okay, of attractive male actors. I should like.
It would be the hardest one you've ever done. Be 4 hours. Be like, I don't know.
Yeah, this isn't me trying to prove anything at all. I'm just saying I legitimately don't think I'm good at that. Like, I think DJ is probably more attractive than I am to people,
Make me
but
feel uncomfortable.
but I don't know. But I assume so.
Let's go back to talking about which
Hot
Daredevil
soup.
character is hotter.
Don't worry, Cap. I have no clue what makes a guy attractive either. I only have eyes for women. And again, like I think there are like straight guys that are really good at this. I'm just not one of them. You know what I mean? Like just because you can go, that guy is super attractive or hot or whatever you want to say. Like two people that are attracted to men doesn't mean that you're attracted to men necessarily. But I'm not one of those guys that can do that.
Yeah, we really missed out. Brightburn's
This is turning into an After Dark. It really has.
Brightburn's just
And
brought
I'm
up
fine with it.
Brightburn's just brought up John Rhys Davies Kingpin from 1980's the Hulk crossover, which is amazing, and I wish I had thought of it first.
Oh
'cause
yeah, that's funny.
He wins.
He's great in that.
He's really funny. He's like behind a screen a lot of the time.
And by great, I mean hilarious.
We got another super chat.
Played out. This was better when Jennifer Garner was the subject of conversation. Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
Well, we got a super chat from Tom.
She's pretty. What do you want from me? And I think she's a good actress. I haven't seen her in enough stuff besides Daredevil. I mean, she's definitely showed up in stuff that I've seen, but
Lots of airline commercials.
that's true. She does do a lot of those. She was in
Now I'm very uncomfortable.
She was in a football movie with Tom Welling a few years ago. I saw that.
Oh wow.
With Kevin Costner and Tom Welling.
Interesting.
And she was okay in that.
Kevin Costner?
Yeah.
With Tom Welling? That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I say that like Tom Welling was the second billed actor. He I think he had like 3 or 4 scenes, but he's in that movie.
Jennifer Garner.
That was the reason I watched it, because I was curious about it. What was that called? Draft Day. That was that movie.
Yeah.
Draft Day.
Jennifer Garner only plays moms these days.
Oh, Daniverse just put it in there. I did come up with it though. I watched it on an airplane. Speaking of airplanes,
I feel like she has played 75 mom characters in like the last 6 years. I've seen her as the mom in so many movies.
And Jennifer Garner as somebody's mom.
Seriously. She was in that Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day movie.
Oh, they made a movie of that?
Yeah, she's the mom.
I didn't know that.
She was in 9 Lives, the classic 9 Lives with Kevin Spacey, where he gets turned into a cat. Please, let's do an After Dark commentary on that.
Daniverse, Chadwick Boseman had the bigger role. Now, I think he was probably a really attractive guy.
Yeah, there you go. See, you can do it.
Okay.
Cap can ogle males. That's the new show.
Why are we having this conversation?
Because it's fun to make you uncomfortable, because I'm about to be very uncomfortable with Tom's latest super chat.
Oh, okay. Well, go ahead and read it. It's your job. You have to do it. Oh, you know what? I forgot the gong from earlier. Okay, good. It's a dumb job, but somebody's got to do it.
This is not I'm going to skip to the uncomfortable one because it's more relative to what we were just saying. $2 from TH1.
Do you mean relevant?
I'd agree with the statement that DJ is Hoder.
Well, you're going to get no dispute from me.
Hoder. He only put 1 T, so that's how I'm going to read it. And TH1,
absolutely,
$5 before that. He says, I'm a straight red-blooded male, but Sterling K. Brown is smoking hot.
You know what? Yeah, I assume he's an attractive man. But see, now I'm thinking I just can't do it with Caucasian people.
Yeah, you're racist against white hot males.
Yeah, I guess, because like all the attractive men that are coming to me right now are black men.
Well, we're learning a little bit about your taste. We're learning a little bit
about Cap, about me tonight, and now I'm talking to the third person for some reason. This is a show. I don't know what's happening here.
Oh, we're off to a great start.
Scott Simmons says his wife thinks you're cute.
I'm so uncomfortable.
You guys just keep throwing those comments in, because DJ ain't gonna read them, but I will.
No, I'm ignoring the chat right now. But yeah, we got to get back to T-Edge.
Play out, you don't know who Sterling K. Brown is? He's one of my favorite actors in the last 10, 15 years.
He's in Black Panther. He's also famous for This Is Us. He was in that whole show.
That's what he's these days probably most famous for. But he's a character actor, and the first thing I saw him in.
Arnold? What's his name in that?
What now?
I was trying to think of his name in that. It's like Arnold or.
I've only seen the first 2 or 3 episodes, and I loved it, but I haven't kept watching it. But yeah, what's his name who played Green Arrow in Smallville is also in that. But yeah, the first thing I saw him in was the O.J. Simpson miniseries.
Oh,
yeah. And I love that show to pieces. I've watched through it probably 3 times, and I fell in love with him in that. And then he's
still are, apparently.
Yeah, apparently. He's in a movie called Hotel Artemis.
Oh, yeah.
Eric and I reviewed and loved, and nobody else seemed to. But, in fact, I found a few months ago, I found the steelbook for that for $5 and bought it. Justin Hartley, that's his name, yeah.
He's in a movie
Not Stephen Amell, Justin Hartley.
He's in a movie called Waves that is supposed to be really, really good that I want to see.
Oh, interesting. What's that about?
I think it's about like a tsunami. The journey of a suburban family led by a well-intentioned but domineering father as they navigate love, forgiveness, and coming together in the aftermath of a loss. So very generic description that tells you nothing.
Let's watch it. I mean, it's Sterling K. Brown's. I mean, I'll watch it.
Yeah, can't go wrong there. He also plays Matthias in Frozen 2. Big role.
Oh, I didn't see that.
All right, let's get back to speaking of O.J. Simpson. Let's get back to Tom's super chat about simping for Sterling K. Brown.
Okay,
what would you do if you were Purple Man? You rock.
Oh boy, I feel like
I think I could definitively say that is the power I would want the least.
Yeah.
That is, I think, the worst superpower you can have. Because
Yeah,
I think it would ruin anyone.
And you couldn't use it hardly at all without feeling like you were doing something unethical. Like, even if you used it to help people, you did it for the right reasons, you're still taking free will away from people for any amount of time. My conscience would not let me live with ever using that power. You would basically have to just pretend like you didn't have it.
But it would come out even by accident. Like there's a...
And they deal with that in that show.
In the first season, there's the first season of Umbrella Academy, she has the same power.
Oh,
one of the girls in that.
Persuasion.
And she just, like any parent ever, just gets really fed up with her daughter one night when she won't go to sleep, and she's talking back and they're in a big argument fighting, and she just says, "Go to sleep," not trying to use her power, but just said it. And she went to sleep, and her husband saw her use her power, and their marriage broke up, and it was a huge, it ruined their marriage because she used it on their kid.
Oh, that's super sad.
It's like I don't know how you could ever have that power.
I'll finally watch that show when I want to get super depressed.
No, it's a really fun show. I mean, the first episode starts with Constantinople. There's like a fight scene to your...
What?
Yeah.
You didn't tell me that.
I did a long time ago. I told you that it had a Giant song in it, but I didn't want to tell you which one it was. But it's been so long now, I feel like I have to go ahead and tell you.
That's one of the obvious three. Like,
yeah.
If a Giant song is going to show up in a show, well, besides the Malcolm in the Middle theme, I guess that could also show up in something.
But it's good for a fight scene, for a quirky show.
Oh no,
it's a really fast-paced song.
That sounds like a good idea. But it's the obvious go. It's either going to be Istanbul, or it's going to be Particle Man, or it's going to be Birdhouse. Those are the three, and those are all three songs that I've seen in multiple shows.
Yeah.
By the way, that is really cool.
I really, really loved that first season, and I didn't like the second season, and I really didn't like the third season. It went downhill for me. I apparently can't like shows past first season.
You're not alone, though. I mean, I don't think that's you. I think that's streaming television. I really do.
Same thing with Daredevil. I had the same thing with Legion, which I love the first season. It's one of my favorite superhero shows ever, but for some reason the second season lost me. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Yeah, I still need to finally sit down and watch the rest of that. But I had heard that, so it was hard to get excited about it. And I'm supposed to review that in some capacity at some point, because years ago now Jeffrey sent me that. Yeah. And I mean, I reviewed the pilot at one point, but I've never talked about the whole show or that whole season. But yeah, I've got the discs. He sent that to me.
It's good. You're gonna love it because you love multiple personality psychosis.
Yeah, and just psychological thrillers in general. But and just the cinematography and the editing in that pilot was killer, man.
Oh, it's so good. It's Nathan, what's his face? I can't remember. Same guy who does Fargo, and that's an amazing show too. I still haven't seen the fourth season of Fargo. I'm so behind.
Guys, we are right at an hour. Let's go ahead and take a break, and we'll come back in about 3.5-4 minutes. We are not real far in for the Super Chat goal, so I'm going to go ahead and drop it back now to at least 100. Do I want to go all the way back to 80? I kind of feel, because that's going to be
torture.
That's gonna be a rough show. Yeah.
No, they gotta earn the torture.
I think so too. Okay, I'll drop it back to $100. If we hit $100 tonight, and I'm not gonna drop it any farther than that. But because I was already not sure about 120, I thought that might be a little bit too steep for this. So I'm gonna go to $100. If we get to that tonight, and no pressure or anything, guys, but if you feel like getting us to that, I will promise a She-Hulk watch party in November. Otherwise, we'll possibly do it sometime next year. Everybody just keep in mind, though, and I'm not saying this to pressure anybody, but this just occurred to me, and I haven't brought this up a lot, so some of you guys might not know about this, or might have forgotten, but my wife is going to deliver it really will be our last kid, guys. But our last child in late December, and I will likely take a bit of a hiatus after that. I'm not sure for how long yet. So you may not see me a lot at the first of the year for the first month and a half, couple months. Actually, maybe more a little bit after that, because things will be actually easier when my wife is at home on sabbatical from her job for what do you call it? Maternity leave. Mm-hmm. So I actually might take either a longer one or take it a little bit later. I'm not sure yet. But just so folks know, I may not be doing a lot at the first of the year.
Yeah, you got to have Cap's paternity leave from YouTube.
Robert Cap forgot how many kids he has. No, I was hesitating because I know people are going to make fun of me about it again. And they're going to be like, that's not going to be your last kid. Every time I bring it up, people are like, just wait, he's going to have another one.
Sure, Cap. You got to go for the lucky number 7.
I have
the magnificent 7.
I have enough kids I could do some sort of ranked list of them. Not favorites. You can't have you can't have a favorite kid. And I really don't. My kids are all great.
Just do most smartest to least smart.
Oh no. Honestly, there's not a way to rank your children. There's no category that you could feel okay ranking your children.
That's true. Just rank them from most attractive to least attractive.
Austin, you guys have shorter maternity leaves, right? I don't know how long you guys have them in Canada. Here it's between 6 and 8 weeks usually. Is about all you get. It depends on the company, of course.
I think I got 8 weeks paternity leave for my job.
Wow. Well, I can take off as long as I want to, as long as I'm fine with not getting paid. Tom, $2 super chat. She-Hulk is much better than Secret Investment. Well, I'm sure it is better than
Secret Investment. What's he trying to get us to buy?
How do you
doing a Ponzi scheme, Tom?
Yeah, how do you make an investment and not know about it? No.
That's the ultimate triangle or pyramid scheme. If people don't even know you got their money.
I don't know if it'll be better. Wow, Austin says they get a whole year in Canada. Well, that's
good lord.
That makes me jealous. That makes me ultra jealous. Wow, Canada.
How would you even go back to work after a year? That would be impossible.
Yeah. How do companies afford to pay out that long?
Yeah, what the world?
That's wild. Hot soup. You sure you can't? Older to youngest. Yeah, but oldest to youngest. Yeah, but
true.
What is that video? All right, everybody. I'm going to rate my kids today from oldest to youngest. It's going to be 1.5 minutes long. I still would find a way to make that video an hour long.
Yeah, you'd be like, what is age, really? And you just start pontificating about it. And before you know it, it's an hour 22.
Okay, let's go ahead and take a break now. Feel free to throw in some more comments or more questions and super chats if you're so inclined, and we'll be right back with the second half of the Cam Logan Show. We'll talk about whatever insanity, nonsense, or even more enlightening things you guys would like to talk about. See you in just a little bit. Hey everybody, welcome back to the second half of the Captain Logan show. It's a nice, relaxing evening. We're going to try to get to a more relaxed place than the first hour where we talked about whether DJ was hotter than me. Can't hear you, DJ. That's how relaxed he is. He's not even
I'm
talking.
so relaxed I can't even make sound with this mouth.
All right, what do you guys want to talk about? We are open for business. We'll take any questions within reason. Maybe even not as within reason, given the way the show has already gone.
Sure, let's steer
so
into the
far.
skid.
Yeah, what do you see? What do you see? What do you see?
I see nothing at the moment. People are still on their break, still in the restroom. I'm going to go back to the super chat questions.
Okay, let's do that.
Let's see. Perfect. Right on theme. Daniverse, what's the longest you've actually spent dancing at a dance party?
Wow. That's a thing I don't typically do any of. So I don't think I've ever been to a dance party outside of
like weddings, yeah.
Yeah, and like high school dances and that kind of thing, but like an actual dance party or going clubbing. I've never gone clubbing. It's not a thing I do.
Cap and DJ go clubbing is an amazing video.
On camera, like swimming.
Absolutely make happen, yeah. So I've never done that either, but that sounds...
We should, yeah.
You get glow sticks and...
I would be too self-conscious, yeah. I've been told my entire life that I don't have rhythm when it comes to dancing. Like, I do have rhythm. Like, I'm like, you know, I'm something of a novice drummer, and I used to be in choirs and stuff. Like, I have rhythm. I understand how that works, but I'm too stiff. Like, I can't make dancing look remotely good. So I don't have a great answer to this question. I did go to a party probably 4 or 5 years ago, this Halloween thing that my dad was invited to. And it was a costume thing. Jason won the kids costume contest for a Harry Potter costume he had. He wore, and I brought the Asbat Batman suit from the short-lived Catfall series, and I did a bat dance at that Prince's Bat dance, but I didn't do anything more than that, and I was just being goofy in a Batman costume. So yeah, that's not really a thing I do. So I guess the true answer to that is probably my own wedding.
Oh yeah.
Which I learned a little bit of ballroom dancing for, but I haven't done it in a really long time. So like we had a live jazz band. We had a jazz quartet. It was wonderful, and my wife and I learned some stuff for that. But
yeah, my wife and I did the dance from Dirty Dancing at our wedding.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, we had to really learn the lift for a long time.
Yikes!
That was scary, especially in her crazy dress.
Yeah, that sounds impractical. Senior stakes, Cap can't dance. True.
Cap can't dance. That's a good show title too.
Yep. We cancel that after the pilot.
But he can go clubbing with DJ.
Well, I could get in a car and go to a place, sure.
But would they let us in? Is the question.
Probably not. They'll let you in. I'm not attractive enough.
No, but you would describe to them how handsome Sterling K. Brown is, and they'd be like, "Yeah, you're right. You can
That's
come
right.
in."
Yeah. I'll be like, just imagine that I'm Sterling K. Brown and let me in. Just imagine that.
I mean, I'm so close already. If you look,
Yeah.
at me, squint your eyes.
Yeah, just think about it. And you know what? Sorry, I gotta go retroactive about 20 minutes. That's what I would do with persuasion powers. I would make everybody think I was Sterling K. Brown.
There you go. And
That's
then
what
you
I
wouldn't
would
even
do.
have to use your powers because they would just do everything for you because you're Sterling K. Brown.
That's right. And then I would know I was attractive.
The man is like 50 and he's still like in peak shape. He's
You'd
taking
never
care of
know it
himself.
looking at him. That's
Yeah.
why he's 50.
I don't know how old he is. He's getting up there, but he is.
He looks like he's 35. And I know what people are gonna say. You know, there's the whole black don't crack thing, where like a lot of people with
47.
Wow, a lot of people with darker skin tones look younger, but then that doesn't work with everybody, though. I mean, I have definitely seen people with darker skin that are 60 years old and they look 60 years old. So it doesn't work with everybody. No,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
wild though. I didn't know he was that old.
Yeah, he's starting to look it now, I guess, if you see some more
Well, and
recent pictures
I
of
haven't
him.
seen him in anything in probably 4 or 5 years, to be honest with you. But
Yeah, and we have such a skewed perspective of how actors actually look because you only ever see them in like tons and tons of makeup on camera. But we're getting some
Connor
super chats though.
says he just saw Tremors for the first time. Connor, I
Oh,
haven't seen Tremors in probably 15 years, man. I brought that up on After Dark last week, though, because we watched Nope, and the third act of that reminded me. I won't spoil it for anybody that hasn't seen it yet, but it reminded me a lot of Tremors. I was getting Tremors vibes from it. I liked Nope a lot. I know there's people that don't, but I really enjoyed it.
I heard good things about it. Yeah.
I really liked it.
I need to jump on the bandwagon, watch one of his films. I haven't seen any of them.
Yeah, I liked it more than Nope or than Us, I think, and I liked Us quite a bit, but I think I liked Nope just a little bit more.
Yeah.
At least on a first viewing while I was talking over it. So, take that with a grain of salt because we were doing a commentary, so I probably got, 70% of it. But Brandon and I had a really fun time with that.
Sweet. I'm glad. Let's see. Robert Wild, $2. It's Friday the 13th tomorrow. Any stream plans?
Oh, goodness. It is, and I wasn't even thinking about that. Maybe we should have switched our schedule around, but it's too late to do it now because I've been preparing for the Superhero Rewind commentaries for tomorrow night. But we're doing the double feature that I announced at the beginning with Spawn and Mystery Men. So that is the stream plan for tomorrow. Not like super great Halloween movies, but next week I haven't announced this yet, but next Friday night and we will prepare for this one. This won't be a blind commentary. This won't be a watch party, but we're going to do a commentary on Silence of the Lambs next week. And then I think the week after that, we're going to do The Exorcist. So we are going to do some Halloween or some horror movies this month. So it'll be a couple more weeks before we get to the next set of Rewind commentaries. We're thinking about continuing, if we've got the stamina for it on the night in question, we're thinking about continuing these double features and doing them a little bit less frequently so that we've got more time to do other like watch parties and things that we want to do on Fridays. So we'll have like still better than two commentaries a month, but it gives us 2 weeks in between where we can do other stuff we want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know for sure if we'll stick to that, but that's what we're going to attempt at least for the next couple. Because the last one went really well, but those were also both two movies I knew really, really well. Mystery Men I remembered almost nothing about. I saw this for the first time when I did the rewind like 11, 12 years ago. And
I've never seen it except for your rewind.
I was watching it today and I was like, I can't believe I wrote about this movie. It's like I'm seeing it for the first time. I remembered next to nothing. And then toward the end, there's like one scene where I was like, oh, this is coming back to me, but it didn't happen until like an hour, 40 minutes in.
All I remember from your rewind is that there's a character called the Shoveler, and there's a guy who turns invisible, but he has to take his clothes off. So he gets naked inevitably in one scene.
Well, it's funny you say that because that's not really how it played. When I was watching it today, it looked more like he goes invisible because the whole thing, spoilers for a 30-year-old movie, but the 25-year-old movie, but the whole thing is you think that he doesn't actually have powers where he just thinks that he can go invisible because the situation, the scenario has to be so specific that it sounds ridiculous, where he's like, I need, like, no one can be looking at me, and the only way I know I'm invisible is I feel invisible. And everybody's like, okay, he probably doesn't, the rest of the team, they don't even want him on the team because they're like, he doesn't have any real superpowers. And then you have the inevitable scene where it's kind of predictable, where they really need somebody invisible, and he's like, okay, I'm finally gonna try it. And so everybody turns around and they don't see him, and you think that he's gonna just pretend to be invisible, but he actually goes invisible. No, whenever everybody turns around, he goes invisible, and then all of his clothes fall off. He doesn't take them off; they just drop to the floor. And I don't really understand what's happening there. Or maybe he takes them off quickly because he's invisible, just very quickly. Maybe that's what's going on. But he doesn't have to take them off to be invisible. He just has to take them off so that nobody can see him doing stuff, because otherwise... So I guess he can be invisible, but his clothes can't be invisible, even though they're on his person, which makes sense.
Yeah.
As much sense as this movie's going to.
Same thing we do all like that they added that scene in after they cast Jessica Alba so that she could end up naked on the bridge.
That's not true. That was like 6 years later.
No, they added that scene in, like where they have to get because it makes no sense. Like
when Fantastic Four,
they can't get through the bridge.
I misunderstood what you were saying.
So she turns invisible to get through, but then like the only thing it does is I'm back visible again, and you can see me in my underwear, and then they don't. The only reason they get through is no reason. They just get through.
It just felt like a contrived reason to have Jessica Alba be nude in the scene.
Oh, it's 100% real. I listened to the commentary. Tim Story straight up says that. He's like, of course we had to add this scene in once we cast her. It's the same thing where
of course you
producer of Daredevil's like, of course we had to add a sex scene in because we got Jennifer Garner and Ben Affleck. It's like, no.
Of course we have to do the exact opposite of what we initially filmed.
Yeah.
With that anyway. Yeah, no, I didn't remember that was Kel from Kenan and Kel either. Before I started watching, I was surprised by a couple of the casting choices. I think in some cases, like people that I didn't really know until later, like after I watched it, and people that I just forgot were in it, like him. But it's an interesting cast. It's a really neat cast.
It's William H. Macy plays the shoveler, right?
Yeah,
he's awesome. I gotta watch Fargo again. All right.
And I guess I'll talk about all this tomorrow, but I love his wife. Because, like, she doesn't like that he's going out and fighting crime and thinks the superhero thing is ridiculous. But she's also still playing the absurdity of the universe really straight when she goes, now we both agree that you are the best person at shoveling that has ever lived. But you're taking it too far. And I'm like, that's wonderful. That's such a good line.
People are talking about characters who just walk around naked all the time, and I just want to I wish someone would ask this in a super chat so we can start talking about it. Robert Wild says, let's rank characters who walk around naked. Invisible Man, Gillman, Chewbacca. And
now that I'm doing ranked lists, we can totally make that. We should do that. We should do the characters that are naked list. Do the Ninja Turtles count?
Absolutely, unless you count like a belt.
Yeah, because they got a belt, and sometimes they even have like the straps. You know what, the belt that like goes across.
Yeah, but
it's still not clothes.
If genitals are exposed, I think it still counts as naked. Like if I was just walking around with wrist wraps and ankle wraps, I think people would still be like, "There's a naked man."
Yeah, right? I mean, like that's all He-Man has until you get to his shorts.
That's true, but that the shorts are a crucial bit.
No, I know, but that would be like saying He-Man is wearing a shirt. You know, he's not. Anyway, I just happen to have a giant figure of Donatello sitting next to me so that we could assess the turtles' clothes situation.
Austin just put in the super chat just so we could talk about it.
Of course. Thanks, Austin. Appreciate you, man.
That was worth $2.79 of Canadian money.
I feel bad sometimes about this relationship I have with Austin because he's doing like 2-3 shows with me a week and he's still giving me Patreon and super chat money.
Well, just for comedic effect, though, so he's getting something out of it.
That's true. Well, Patreon, like he stayed on Patreon, which is super nice of him, and not a thing that I would feel the need to talk about publicly, except I have to say his name because he's a rewind.
You should make him say his own name.
That's the thing is, it has
cool.
become for comedic. It has turned into a comedic effect thing because we've started saying the producer names at the end of the show back and forth. And when I started doing that, it didn't occur to me that he'd have to say his own name, and occasionally he does. So last show, he goes, I think this is last week for the impromptu history, one of the impromptu history videos, he goes, and me! Favorite naked characters.
All right, we're not there yet, though. Don't get ahead of us.
Sorry. I apologize. I'm doing your job for you, and poorly. Even.
We've got TH1, $2 in reference, I'm assuming, to your Cap Can't Dance comment earlier.
Cap
says,
can't dance.
Cap can't dance.
Walk.
Cats
Only
can't
thing
dance
about
is
me
awesome.
is the way I talk.
Oh, are we on the secret investigation or the secret investment stream?
This is a secret investment. I still don't know what that means.
That means someone doesn't know how to read over before they hit send. Cats Can't Dance is awesome, says Tom. Now, if you don't know, that's an animated musical film from the 1990s, I believe.
I did not know that, DJ. that is news to me.
It was on a trailer it was a preview on VHS tape that I had growing up, and I can't remember which one it was, but I have
Wow.
those. You know how much those you still have burned in your head from those commercials that you watched on tapes that you watched out a bunch?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, like the Pizza Hut baseball commercial on the Ninja Turtles 1990 VHS.
Yeah.
That's why I play in right field, just watching the dandelions grow.
What was that other animated movie that was about like a cobbler? It was like The Thief and the Cobbler or something. All I remember is the trailer of that is like burned into my head. It's like, the balls are gone. Like, it's such a weird trailer. Such a weird commercial.
I've never seen that. That's new to me. But again, you're a little younger than me, so that might be kind of past my time. I don't know what that is.
I think that's another 90s animated movie, The Thief and the Cobbler. I think it's one of those like lost films.
Oh, Cinematographic says it's Cats Don't Dance.
Oh, you got it wrong. You got it wrong.
And he says that was the last thing Gene Kelly worked on. Well, nothing against Tom, but this is also the guy that gave us Secret Investment.
Instead, I'm the hoarder of the two.
Oh, Danover says The Thief and the Cobbler, but it's an incomplete film.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's like the director got too involved and tried to do everything himself, and like was doing it by hand and like way too detailed, and there was no way he could finish it. They couldn't give him any more money, so it got like cobbled together by like other people at the last minute and just released. It's a really sad story because it would have been amazing if he would have been able to finish it.
Interesting. Okay, sorry, I'm just racking up naked characters in my brain. We need to get to that at some point because I'm still thinking about that.
All right, we got one more before that. TH1, $2.
I hope it's not hard because I just want to talk about naked people. Go ahead.
Renfield is available free on Prime and is awesome. Well, it's not free if it's on Prime. You got to have Prime, but I see what you're saying.
Right, well, I have Prime, so it's like it's free because I'm paying for that anyway. Yeah, people keep telling me to watch that, so maybe I'll make that an After Dark movie. That could happen. I'm thinking about doing more blind commentaries on After Dark for more recent movies and stuff that I wouldn't necessarily do on the channel. Which, like, that's one that's kind of borderline. I would maybe do that on the channel. But I'm thinking about doing more, like, of genres that I don't want to prioritize for the channel, like horror, that I just don't do as much of. Obviously, October, Halloween, I'm going to do more horror stuff. But yeah, typically, I'm not doing as much of that. So that's why I went ahead and did Nope. Because I really wanted to watch that, but I probably wouldn't prioritize that for a blind commentary. So yeah, I'm thinking about doing more of that. I wish I had more time, like regularly on Thursdays, because I'd love to do like weekly blind commentaries for Patreon. That would be really cool, but I just don't have quite enough time in my week to do it every week.
Yeah.
Boy, I'd love to though. That'd be really
time
cool.
in the week, man.
But like tonight, I've got to finish preparing for the rewind commentaries, so I'm not gonna be able to do that. But I wanna. I don't know. I get in these grooves, DJ. I get like I have these periods where all I want to do is stream and work on video stuff, and then I'll get like a little bit burnt out and I'll drop off for a little bit. I'll do some other things, and then it takes about 3 weeks, and then just that's all I want to do again.
You just changed the name of the channel. I think you should change the slogan of the channel to "It's my channel. I'll stream if I want to."
Ooh, that's good. That's really good. I like that. I might steal that.
All right, now we're here. Now we're here to the meat and potatoes of this live stream.
Yeah. What you've all been waiting for.
The Day Ghost keeps it short and sweet. Just 3 words. Favorite naked characters.
So somebody mentioned Mystique. That's definitely way up there.
Yeah.
She's definitely naked, and for no good reason. She doesn't have to be. She could still be blue and put clothes on. Not put clothes on, make it look like she has clothes, but no, she has to assert her mutanity by making sure that she leaves nothing to the imagination. But she's definitely up there. I like that Mystique more than the First Class Mystique even. But yeah, she's in there.
Yeah, and we already brought up Ninja Turtles. Austin brought up the Cowardly Lion, which is a good one. Animal, I mean, all animals though are naked.
Yeah, well, I mean, so, like Winnie the Pooh is only half naked. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't have pants.
Winnie the Poohing it means you're only wearing a shirt.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
I frequently do on this show, and no one can tell.
But Dr. Manhattan.
That's the most obvious.
He's up there. He's way up there. Is a favorite naked character.
Yeah, that's
him
true.
and Mystique. They're kind of fighting for it right now.
And they're both blue.
That's true. Blue now can we do a tier list for naked blue characters? That's the trick.
Now that is quite the Venn diagram.
Austin, Blue from Jurassic World. That's a naked character.
She is.
She's not wearing any clothes.
But that's again an animal. All animals, really. Sonic is another blue naked character.
That's true. He's way up there too. I didn't think of that. Knuckles. So really, all the Sonic characters. That's probably why Sonic High School happened. That kid was probably like, oh, they're all naked. I'm gonna make like a sexy fanfic about Sonic characters.
Played Out brings up Porky Pig. That's right. He also doesn't wear any pants, but he does have top. He's not topless. He's just bottomless.
Robert says ugly naked guy from Friends is top tier.
I mean, it's in the name. He's got to be naked.
That's
or he's not the guy.
Yeah, ugly naked guy is that like there's that sitcom rule that you have to have that character that everybody talks about but you never see, or that at least you don't see his face, like the neighbor in Home Improvement. Yeah, is that where you were gonna go? Yeah. Or like Maris from Frasier. Character that everybody talks about, nobody ever sees.
Yogi Bear was wearing a tie, Connor, so he's not completely naked.
That's true. That's true.
He does combo. So he's
have
fancy
a tie.
naked.
Well, okay, but if that counts as clothes, I feel like the belts with the Ninja Turtles also count as clothes.
No, you're right. No, I was just giving Connor a hard time.
Well, any chance you get.
Absolutely. I'd bring him on my channel just to give him a hard time.
I want to write all these down and do the naked character tier list. I think that this is a wonderful idea.
Speaking of ugly naked guy, when you went to the Spider-Man experience thing, I was going to bring up, I went to the Friends experience when it was here in Atlanta.
You didn't tell me about that.
Yeah. Well, I posted some pictures.
How was it? No, I missed him though. I didn't see that.
This was a while. This was 2 years ago.
Was it any good though?
I mean, it's basically just a lot of photo ops. Like they rebuild Joey and Chandler's room, and you can like get in the chairs. And then
that's cool though.
You've got they have the couch set up on some stairs, so you can do the pivot. Scene.
That's fun.
The Central Perk set up, and they've got the kitchen, the main.
So all the stuff you'd hope they had, yeah.
Yeah. So, but there's also a photo op where they have like a window. They have the window, and they have the big long pole, so you can be poking ugly naked guy when they're trying to wake him up when he's dead in that episode, or they think he's dead. Spoiler alert.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'll send you some of the photos. I'll have to dig them back up, but it was fun. I mean, it was basically just a lot of photo ops, but that's all anyone does these days is take pictures themselves and post them online. So.
But did they have any screen props?
Yeah, they had some like signed things and some scripts, and some outfits like from the show that you could like stand behind and make it like you were wearing it, stuff like that.
Oh wow, yeah. As long as there's some museum component. I'm fine with that stuff. Like with Spider-Man, there were all those statues and things that they made specifically for that. But as long as they had some original art, and they actually had some Kirby stuff and all of that, like I was fine with it.
Yeah.
But it would have felt like a little bit of a waste of time if you didn't get to see any artifacts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want some kind of educational component to it, and to get to see something I haven't, that's real that I haven't seen. Because I've seen a fair amount of that kind of stuff. Like that's a thing I like to go do. It
was pretty fun, and it wasn't expensive. I mean, it was cheap. It was a fun date day for me and Grace to go do that together because we both watched that show a lot.
Yeah, if that ever came close to me, I'd go. But I would go alone because there's nobody. That like my wife wouldn't go with me to that. Jason would go. I'd take Jason. He's seen enough of that show. He'd go with me.
Yeah. Well, eventually we're gonna have to do a little. Not a 24-hour stream. Senior Stick says 24-hour friends stream.
No.
I can't do that, but we could do 6 episodes.
We're not going to do that, but we do a mini marathon. We do 3, 4, 5. Yeah. I would want... Well, you know what we should do?
Sure.
How would you feel about trying to work it in somewhere in November and doing a Thanksgiving episode stream? Because
there's a lot of those, yeah.
Because there's a lot of those, and one of the big ones I would want to watch with you is a Thanksgiving one, because one of my favorites is Ross's Dumb States game.
Yes.
I love that episode. I just showed that to Jason a couple weeks ago, and I was like, I want to watch that with DJ. And I didn't remember that was a Thanksgiving episode, but it is.
Oh yeah, there's like 5 or 6 Thanksgiving episodes. It's crazy. They did that.
They do no more than that. They do almost one for every season.
Yeah, they do more than Christmas. They really latched onto the Thanksgiving instead of Christmas in that show.
Yeah. I think it's because they had a couple in a row that were like big breakout episodes, and so it became a thing.
Yeah. Well, the first one is the football one, which is great, and then they do the parade one. Yeah. They did it early on, and they just kept doing it.
Thomas Lowe still waiting for the 24-hour Batman '89 stream. Don't tempt me, man. I'll do it too. Okay, we got about 25 minutes left in the show. We are at $35. So we're not super close or anything, but it's still possible. If we hit $100 tonight on Super Chats, Austin and I will tackle She-Hulk for a watch party next month. And we'll do the same thing we did with Secret Investment. I'm just going to keep calling it that. Where we'll watch the entire show in one night, all from front to back. And it's a longer show than Secret Invasion was.
But I think they're shorter episodes.
And I haven't seen any of that.
And I'd like to pop in for that and take shots whenever something really annoying happens with you.
Oh, that's true. The Tick may or may not count as a naked character. And
if he's to be believed.
Yeah, that's right. And there's kind of no reason not to believe him, but also
he's crazy.
Well, that's true. That's a reason not to believe him. You just can't know. You just can't know.
Also, he might be part animal, which takes us back to all animals are just naked, or most animals, I guess. Cartoon ones.
I don't think he's part animal though. I think it's more likely that he is.
Is he just called a tick because he's not really anything? Nothing looks like a tick on him except.
No, he just has the intent. That's it. That's it. And like ticks aren't blue either.
No, he looks nothing like. If a tick is sucking the blood out of you and it turns blue, you might want to call an ambulance immediately.
Well, that's actually so. Ben Edlund gets in front of that whole question in the first issue, and it's in the cartoon pilot also. DJ, it's one of my favorite Tick jokes where he's in the diner and there's this guy in a hat that looks like a private detective that thinks it's ridiculous. His name's the Tick, and he's like, why do they call you the Tick? Do you suck blood? And the Tick goes, yeah, man. I suck blood all the time. And he goes, and the other guy's like, oh, yeah, right. You don't suck blood. You're not a Tick. And the Tick picks up a straw and he goes, I got a straw right here. Do you want a demonstration? And it's fantastic.
Oh, Robert Weil just put in a different super chat to change the subject, but I'm going to loop it right back around to, is Jerry Seinfeld in B-Movie naked? Or does he have a shirt on? I can't remember.
I've never seen B-Movie, so I don't know. But I think that's a naked bee.
That, sir, is a naked bee.
That bee has no clothes.
I think they wear shirts. I think they Winnie the Pooh it in that.
I need you guys that care to really help me out with this, because I'm paying attention to questions, so I'm not writing anything down. I really want to get a good 15, 20... character list together, and I want to do a tier list on this.
And this will be the one I join you for.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking about doing it next week. If we can get a good list together, maybe I'll make that Tuesday. If I keep doing this on Tuesdays, maybe I'll make that Tuesday's tier list video. See if DJ's around. Try to bring DJ on for it.
How naked do they have to be? Like, does Deja Thoris from John Carter count? Because she's basically naked.
There's a lot of scantily clad, kind of skimpy, like chicks like that. But I think it's the same thing as if you're wearing shorts. You know what I mean? Like, if your private parts are covered, you're not naked.
That's true. That's true. Godzilla definitely counts. King Kong.
Yeah, but then the thing is, the question is, do we want to just do this with, like, human or anthropomorphized characters, or can they just be monsters and animals?
Do they have to have genitals for it to count as nudity?
Yeah, that's a good question, too.
Because King Kong's not hanging dong. King Kong...
Well, and we could say, like... for the sake of clickbait, I want to put naked in the title, but but the category could just be unclothed characters.
Yeah, because we can't. I mean, most of them will be gone because no cartoon characters are drawn with those.
Well, sure, and I wasn't even really thinking that way either, but yeah, how naked do they have to be? That is definitely a question.
Oh, Played Out brings up a good point. Robots, androids, like do the robots count?
Yeah, so, like Bender is technically naked.
It's true.
Yeah. Robert Wild, the Hulk is naked pretty often. He's usually got shorts, though.
But he gets fully naked in the 2003 movie.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
He completely rips out of his pants altogether. My chat keeps freezing up, and I keep losing it. It's really annoying.
Oh,
I'm sorry, I have to
man.
refresh the page, and
yeah, well, and that's a problem when you're the moderator.
Yeah, come on, YouTube.
You know, I'm gonna have to do your job for you, and as we've noticed, I'm terrible at it. I'm not good at that.
The thing is naked in fan 4 sticks, says Austin. That's true.
Robert Wild, are there any Star Trek characters that make the list? Yeah, well, it's that same thing, right, where there's some characters that, like, do you even want to consider them, you know, robots and things? You know, like, there's a robot in TOS that's technically naked, but you wouldn't put clothes on it because it just, you know, looks like a big cylinder. Nomad. Like, yeah, I guess technically Nomad. Or things like, I'm trying to remember, is the Mugatu? Yeah, the Mugatu is probably naked.
Yeah, what does it count? Like, does it have to be intentionally naked? Because, like, yeah, Hulk rips out of his clothes by accident. Johnny Storm burns up his clothes in the first Fantastic Four movie and sits in a hot tub.
Yeah, I don't think Lord Zed is naked.
He's got metal. He's got a metal bikini on, especially
yeah.
in the movie, and especially in the '95 movie. He's really got the top.
Especially, yeah. I mean, there's characters in Star Trek that get naked, but they're not typically naked.
I mean, we all get naked sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Sure. But I mean, like, in a scene.
Thor gets naked and goes into another hot tub in Age of Ultron. Thor gets naked in his most recent Thor movie, I've heard. I haven't seen it, but...
Yeah, well, that's because, again, people tell me that is a very attractive man. But the problem with me,
the problem is he's too pale for Cap.
Is that I'm heterosexual and he's a white man, and so I can't tell if he's attractive or not. That's apparently my whole thing.
So all of the naked characters on this tier list will be black males.
Well, it's not about most attractive naked characters. It's just favorite naked characters.
That's a different
favorite characters that are typically naked. Robert says the Terminator. Yeah, but the other question is not just how naked, but how often.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is it an intentional choice, or is it just one time where they got really burnt up? Or
yeah, well, like with the Terminator, the conceit is you can't take your clothes back with you. So when you go through time, you show up naked, but then the formula is always they're naked and then they go find somebody to beat up and take their clothes. That's what they always do.
Ah, take your word for that. I really sincerely hope this is someone's first stream on the channel.
I do too. I've been thinking that this entire time, actually. Yeah. Yeah, I want them to think that this is indicative of the show. And then we're going to have to decide moving forward if it will become indicative of the show. That's
up to these guys. I mean, they direct the show.
You know, there is truth to that. Although I can kind of, you know, I can manipulate it to some degree. Because you said earlier, I mean, it is my channel and I can stream if I want to. We are at $37 going for $100 for a She-Hulk watch party. We've got 15 minutes. It's probably not going to happen tonight, but feel free to get us there if you want to. DJ, what other questions do you see, sir?
All right, well, let's change the subject. The Day Ghost put in another $2.79 Canadian.
Okay, but put a pin in it because it could come back for a tier list.
Well, that was actually sarcasm. He says favorite characters you wish are naked.
Oh, Austin. I'm gonna plead the fifth on that. I don't.
So it all comes back to Elektra and 2003 Daredevil.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm gonna.
You wish were naked. How can we take this serious?
I was gonna say I'm gonna overthink this and try to take it seriously, like I do with everything. I mean, there's not really any clothed characters that I would necessarily want to always be naked, because how do you contrive it where it makes sense that they're always walking around naked?
Yeah.
You know, like even if they're, you know, people that you find really attractive, that you're like, oh man, you know.
Say Brian.
That girl's so attractive. I wish
Sterling
she was just
Brown.
Always naked. Well, yeah, but.
Of course, you want him to be naked all the time, but it wouldn't make sense as the dad in This Is Us if he was naked
why
all
was
the
he?
time.
Why is that guy a nudist? It's weird.
There are dozens of us. Oh man, so yeah, who would really benefit from being naked?
I don't want to talk about this anymore. Austin says Lara Croft.
No, she's got too many pockets she needs to utilize while she's running around. She's got to hold her guns and stuff.
Yeah,
And
I
her
mean, the best
treasures.
I can come up with is characters that are already so close to being naked. What is even the point of them still wearing clothes?
Yeah, yeah. Like whom? Who are you thinking there?
Witchblade. I guess the only reason Witchblade has to have clothes is because otherwise she doesn't have the Witchblade.
Well, if the Ninja
and also
Turtles
that's
go
pretty
full,
much just the covers. She hardly ever looks like that in interiors.
yeah. Well, yeah, because if the Ninja Turtles went fully nude, they wouldn't be able to carry their weapons around with them. They'd have to actually hold them.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. Because well, does that count as clothes?
Holsters. Well, I mean, they're close. I mean, just on that.
It's
right
part of the. It's part of the
back.
belt, like we were talking. The belt get up, like we were talking about. Yeah.
I would. Yeah. Such a weird contraption. Imagine if a naked human was just wearing a belt with a backpack holster thing.
Well, again, it's basically He-Man.
That's true. So you think He-Man should just be completely nude anyway?
There's not really, but like characters like Tarzan and stuff, where it's like, I mean, it's practically helpful being in the jungle, having that part of your body covered up. I'm sure.
Well, yeah.
It's like even Tarzan doesn't want every day to be naked and afraid.
Yeah, well, I feel like for men, it's never practical because you don't want to be bouncing all over. Like you got to have some. If you're going to be a superheroing around, you got to be.
Well, that's a good point. It's the same reason that if you're a woman, you'd want to be wearing a bra. It's just
So if you're a flat woman,
then whatever.
Like it's fine. Gravity's not against you.
Did you almost say like Mystique? Is that what you were about to say?
Well, she's not, but she
doesn't
basically
look
has
flat-chested.
No, but she basically has a bra on because there's like, she's not completely naked. She has like some stuff like sculpted onto her that's painted over.
The actress is not naked,
bound.
but the character is.
Yeah,
so the character just gets lucky that her private parts are covered by a lizard-like anatomy.
Yeah.
Can you even believe this conversation we're having?
I think it's top tier.
I do too. I you know what? This is S-list material. This is S-tier material for the Captain Logan show.
Material, yes. I think we're rather. I don't think we should end this stream. I think we will be cutting greatness short if we end this stream.
No. You know what? I absolutely agree with that. Yeah. I think we're taking something away from people by halting this conversation. But we do have a massive super chat we're gonna have to cover, and Thomas Lowe has gotten us there, so we are officially.
Has he? I don't know MYR comparison.
Well, I don't either, but on the back end here, I have a total for chat revenue.
Okay.
So I know what the total number is, and it is over $100.
Dang! Wow.
And that's why it came up red, because it's over 50. Anything over 50, it comes up red.
I saw, it's red. Thomas Lowe, bringing it home.
Yeah, so cool of him. And Thomas, you didn't have to do that, but we really appreciate it, man. So we are officially going to do a She-Hulk watch party next month. So strap in, Austin. Get excited about it. We're going to do it.
I hope I can make it for at least some of that. That'll be great. I'll tag you in. I'll tag you out, Austin. I'll come in. You can hop out for a few episodes.
Oh, you're going to come in and watch it with us?
I hope so. I don't know if I'll be able to or not, but I'd like to. We can see if she's a character that we would wish that she was naked.
Let's go ahead and answer his question. You know, and I always say within reason. And tonight, this counts because it's this stream.
There's no reason.
There's no reason. There's no rhyme.
All right. So we got Austin's. TH1, $5.
Oh, we're not there yet. I'm sorry. I thought we were past the other super chats. Apologies, Tom. Go ahead.
No, not even there. Tom, if Mystique used her powers to make her skin look like clothes, is she still naked?
Well, that's like if a tree in the woods falls and nobody's around to hear it, like who cares, right? Like,
well, to her, I guess it matters. Like, can she still feel a breeze across her nether regions if she's shifted clothes?
Yeah, so this is always the example I go to. And it doesn't really make sense that she can do this, but she can, so I'm going to use it. If she can make claws that seem to be able to basically act like regular metal claws, but can be cut through by only adamantium, then yeah, shape-shifting clothes probably protects her from the elements.
Interesting. But I want to know, like, what part of her he cut off.
Yeah, me
Because
too.
he cuts that part off of her, so she lost part of her.
Yeah.
And she can't heal.
She's
So
a
when
shapeshifter,
she turns
not
back, like, what is missing from her?
Yeah, she's not a changeling. She's a shapeshifter.
Well,
she's not in like liquid form.
Yeah, but she really shouldn't be able to turn into anyone that has more mass than her. But
No.
we just kind of sweep that under the rug because we wanted her to be big security guard or something.
Yeah, that's true. But I would say the way they play it in those movies, at least, it's a little closer to the way the Venom symbiote works than anything else.
Oh, interesting.
Right?
Is Venom naked? Even though there's a person inside him wearing clothes. But he's naked.
Yes, he himself, and always, because unless Venom turned you into what looks like Venom and then put on a jacket or something, the symbiote is not wearing clothes.
A hoodie in those movies.
But also that's almost like a reductive kind of argument, because what you're basically asking is, are clothes naked? Because the Venom symbiote is a costume, or functions as a costume much of the time. So you're basically saying, are clothes naked?
But he's a being, like he's a thing.
Yeah, he is, but he operates as clothes.
But then if you have him on you, but then he goes in you, and then he can turn into clothes, because in the 90s show when he like turns Peter Parker into like a fancy suit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he can become actual clothes. He can shapeshift in very specific one way for some reason.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. But that's why you have to say that he still counts as a suit, because he can basically only make himself into suits and I guess weapons and stuff. But it seems like, is it just that Carnage chooses to do like axes and stuff, and Venom could if he wanted to, but he just doesn't? Or does Carnage, does his like liquid to solid form, does it go farther than Venom's does?
Maybe because he's a Spawn. He's got like he's more advanced.
Yeah, I mean this all starts from McFarlane in the first place. It's all Spawn. It surely is. It's disappointing to me that that's a crossover that we've never been able to do, honestly. I would have loved to have seen McFarlane draw Venom versus Spawn, just for the novelty of getting to see that in
it's
panels
crazy
or
that
covers.
He never had, because he would have had the pull, you would think, to get that made in the 90s.
And Marvel crosses over way more often than DC does. No, that's not true. That's not true. Actually, what am I talking about? No, Marvel doesn't do it that much anymore. They used to more. But I would have thought in the 90s it could have happened.
Robert Wild, if Cap isn't naked for the naked character tier list video, what is even the point?
Well, maybe I won't make that video. Because now I'm worried that'll be just all the comments. It's like, well, Captain, why are you wearing clothes for this stream? No, I just think it's a very amusing category, because I couldn't believe how many characters we came up with. And how broad and versatile that topic is. Like, there's so many different characters from different things we thought of.
Well, and it'll be interesting to see if anyone has already made that tier list that you can use as a template.
Yeah, but I'm a little afraid to type that in a search bar.
Well, I'm doing it right now, so you won't.
But like, it's so specific though. We want it to be like genre stuff.
Yeah, that's true. We don't want just any naked. I don't even know what to type.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I mean, is like you'd have to do some real research to see if somebody did exactly what we're talking about. Because what we want is like comic book, movie, cartoon characters that are like superhero, sci-fi, fantasy, genre stuff that technically are naked characters.
Yeah, I'll read what comes up. First, we've got Naked Gun movies ranked, Naked Juice smoothies ranked, How I Met Your Mother hot naked men, and Fighting Mammals. So nothing. Naked and Afraid contestants. That's
sure,
closer.
Sure, yeah, those are actually naked people.
It's true, and
until they decide to make like loincloth type,
some
clothes over them. Have you ever watched that show?
At the gym, like when they're just playing it, I just see bits and clips of it when I was.
My wife was into that for a while, because she likes
naked people.
Sure, yeah, exactly. No,
Who doesn't really?
no, she likes survivalist type stuff.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I figured. I'm just being an idiot.
Well, it's your prerogative.
All right. What is happening?
Oh, sorry, I forgot this a couple times.
Ding.
Now sounds like dinner is on. The soup's on.
All right, Day Ghost. We got to TH1. All right, Robert Wild with his bee question that I referenced earlier. $2. Do bees have stripes or circles?
I always think of it as stripes. I guess I don't know. I haven't thought about that real hard.
They go the circumference of their body. So I guess it's
I see.
Circle.
So I don't know. Both? I guess it depends on what side that you're looking at. This is how you know we've made too many of these shows. These are the questions now, folks.
Yeah, there's stripes from a 2D plane, but if you're looking at it, 3D.
Okay, we have 3 minutes left in the show, and we're definitely going to go a little over, but let's go ahead and knock out the rest of the super chats.
All right. Let's see here.
Are we to the behemoth yet?
Not yet.
Oh, good lord. All right.
T-Edge 1, $2. Thor is okay, but I like Jude Law type for white men.
Okay, Tom. Yeah, I got no dog. I don't know.
He likes the svelte figure form. He doesn't like the big muscular guys apparently. Thanks for your contribution, Tom.
Yeah, I mean, I want to say if I had a type for that, it would probably be like, I don't know, Superman-looking people.
Oh, so you're a bear? You like a bear? Well, I guess Superman's not a bear. He's
more just more of like a chiseled
like
jaw, like yeah, and like muscular, but not like insanely muscular. So like pre-90s Superman.
You want him to
like John Byrne era Superman.
Yeah, he eats. Yeah, it's like Thanksgiving era, like holiday Superman, where he's been eating a little too much and he's a little more round.
But I'm thinking about Superman actors right now, and I would call most of them handsome or attractive. And I was having a difficult time with handsome white men earlier. But like Dean Cain, I'd say that's a good-looking guy, and Christopher Reeve is a good-looking guy. So yeah, I guess Supermans are attractive.
Yeah. I mean, what's his face? The one that everyone loves right now. That
Cavill.
Cavill is strapping man.
Yeah. I think.
Everyone loves him. It's okay, just own it. You don't have to be second guess yourself. Just own it.
But I want to play more into the idea that I only find black men attractive.
That's true. Well, maybe he's got some black in him. I have like 1% Congolese in me, according to my whatever that thing is that you send your DNA off to. What's it called? I've already forgotten.
Congolese.
Yeah. I've got 1% from the Congo.
Help me out. Oh, from the Congo. Okay, I was wondering if that's what that meant.
What is that thing called that you take your spit and stick it in a vial and send it off and get your DNA results? I can't even think of it right now.
It's not Ancestry. What is it?
No, I'll never remember it, but
I've never done that, so I don't know.
Anyway, not important. Let's get to Thomas Lowe's.
It's really
300.
And we haven't dealt with anything especially geeky in a while, folks.
Well, this isn't either, so don't
I
get
know.
too excited. Thank you so much, Thomas Lowe, for your incredible donation. If we need to talk about this every stream, we will, because
that was not. Yeah, I don't know how to talk about this long enough. For anyway, thank you for getting us over the hump. That was super, and we were nowhere near the hump. So I mean, that was amazing. Thanks a ton.
You surmounted the hump. Can you
He shot us right over the donkey.
Right over the hump.
Or the donkey? What help me out? What has humps? Camels.
I had no idea where you were going.
Camels have humps.
I was like, yeah, sure, yeah. I totally get what you're saying, Cap. I'm just gonna move on.
A camel hump.
Camels actually have which is it? I can't remember which way it is. Camels have one hump and dromedaries have two humps. There's like a difference.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one's which. You'll let us know in the comments. Can you be straight and still find men attractive? Well, yeah, we've been talking about that all night.
I think so. Yeah, no, absolutely. I don't think finding someone or something attractive means that you're sexually attracted to it.
Exactly. I can acknowledge that a woman is attractive that I'm not attracted to.
That you're not into. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I think it's the same thing. Like, Because being straight
I just don't
means...
think I'm good at it with men. Typically,
Yeah.
like I was saying earlier, I think
Because you
it's
haven't
difficult.
practiced it.
Well, I guess what I mean is when people go, "Wow, look how super attractive that guy is," I'm like, "Okay, I guess." Like I very often don't see it.
You could get good at it. You just have to practice. You haven't done it much.
Maybe so.
When you're falling asleep at night, you don't think of men.
But it's exactly like, you can, and I don't mean to like objectify people, but you can do this with inanimate objects too, right? Like you can go, that's a pretty flower or whatever it is, and not necessarily like,
want to have sex with it?
I'm going to say want it in your house or whatever. You know what I mean? Like you can recognize that's cool, that's pretty, that looks good, but it's not my favorite, my type.
Yeah,
the
you could do that
the one I want around all the time.
Yeah, like I appreciate this movie; it's well made, but I don't ever want to watch it.
What we're talking about is a superficial topic in the first place, so I have to talk about it in that way. We're talking about a very subjective thing that it's hard to walk backwards and come up with a logical reason that you feel the way you feel about it.
Yeah.
I'm also just rambling as long as I can get away with because that was such a big super chat.
Yeah, it was incredible. But yeah, I totally think you can.
People are kind of losing it about how off the wall this
I'm happy to be here, folks. I'm really enjoying this. This is like beyond an After Dark at this point. I mean, it's still, we haven't gone like inappropriate places, but like.
Oh, Checkers! I'm so sorry. Checkers was working really hard to get us to the goal, and didn't realize that we'd already hit it because I didn't think to take it off the screen. Maybe I should have done that. I'm doing it now, but apologies. Oh, I feel bad about that, Checkers.
I think he's just kidding.
We'll still answer. No, he is, but he wouldn't have done that because he wants to make sure we do that show. And I haven't seen him in a while, so he clearly made a concerted effort there.
Well, we're always glad to have you, and we'll answer your questions as seriously as we answered.
But you didn't even ask a question. You just said, "Make it happen, people."
Oh. Well, he was rallying the troops. He was being supportive.
He was.
Bringing the community together.
And then we got a couple more super chats so people listen to him, apparently.
Someone asked me what percent Thomas Jefferson... Oh, yeah, that's because we were talking about the 22andMe. 23andMe, that's what it's called. I just remembered it.
What percentage of Thomas Jefferson is from the Congo?
Well, that, you're going to have to get his data for that, not mine. All right. Let's see. Where in the world are we? Speaking of Checkers the Inventor, yeah.
Thomas Jefferson's coming home.
Yeah, he said make it happen, people. $10 donation from Checkers the Inventor. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I appreciate you, buddy.
We'll do an extra shot for you that night. Michael McAllister, $4.99. You guys should do a super chat goal for Secret Invasion again. That would be cool. Well, it's Secret Investments, first of all.
I'm sorry, what did he say?
He said you should do a super chat goal to watch
Is
Secret
there
Invasion
any chance
again.
you could do it again? I'm not watching the... Okay, again, I'm bad at acronyms. What is VOD? Video on demand?
Yeah. Well, that's...
So does he mean he doesn't want to... He will only watch a stream if it's happening while it's happening?
Doesn't want to watch the after the fact stream, I guess.
I need you to watch it again. I'm sorry, Bernard. I'm not watching that again. It's not gonna happen. And people would riot. They'd be like, "You guys could be doing anything else right now. You've already done this. Why are you doing this again?" And I know there's a lot of precedent for us doing multiple commentaries on things, but I draw the line there. Especially because we've never done a commentary in such rapid succession on the same thing.
Well, except for when you did 89 7 days in a row.
Okay, that's true. That's true.
You can't make these blanket statements.
I can't.
They're all broken by your previous history.
I can't. I've been making ridiculous gimmicky content for 14 years, and I don't even know what stupid stuff I've done.
Checkers the Inventor, $5.
Hot soup, yeah. I'm not attracted to flowers either. I also don't want to have sex with flowers.
That's true. But what about a woman with flowers in her hair? Is that a thing? You like that?
He wants to... You're going to put the flowers in her hair.
Checkers the Inventor, $5. Oh, you already made it to the goal. What a waste of my money. Disliked, unsubscribed.
Well, we appreciate you being here, Checkers.
And he hasn't said anything in the stream since, so I hope that's for real.
He's gone. That's it. He's gone.
He's kicking the walls in his apartment right now.
Yeah.
But we appreciate the donation. Burned in.
That was not a secret investment. That was very public.
Oh yeah, public.
I was right in the middle
of regretful investment.
We're getting there, folks. We're almost done.
Yeah, we're going through. Now everyone's putting in super chats after we hit the goal. Burned in $4.99. Sorry, I missed.
No, we read that.
Okay, you already got that one for me.
No, I'm sorry. Didn't you read that?
No, I didn't read that one. But you.
Oh, I was talking about it, but I thought you read. Wait a minute. Michael McAllister, you guys should do a super chat goal for Secret Invasion again. That would be good. That's the one I thought you read.
That is the one I read. But you were talking about the VOD one before that.
I see. Sorry. I thought it was the same comment.
Oh, I gotcha. And then
I did basically talk about that. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm behind on the gong.
Goofster123, $5. What would be the super chat goal for a full playthrough of Spider-Man 2 on PS5 on stream?
Okay, can I give you the honest answer on that? And I'm going to sound greedy when I say this, and I don't mean to. The only way at this point I'll do it is if the audience or somebody in the audience wanted that so bad they bought me a PS5. It's the only way I do it. And
because there's no way
this is not me asking you guys to do that. I don't really want one, is the thing. Like, that's... And it's for a couple of reasons, at least at the moment. Maybe someday, eventually, I'll play that game. I have basically written it off and decided I'm not going to play that right when it comes out. And I was kicking it around, and I put my feelers out to see how many people really wanted me to talk about that when it came out. And there was a decent amount, but the more I was looking into the system and stuff, it's just, DJ, there's not enough else that I even care about with that system. And I don't play modern games hardly at all. I don't like what the system looks like. I don't like the way Sony has been doing business lately, particularly with the PlayStation 5. I feel like they've been very anti-consumer in a lot of different ways lately. The release of the Slim looks terrible. I hate the way they're doing that. They're just nickel and diamond customers like crazy. Like, I'm not a boycott type. Like, if there were a couple things I absolutely had to play, I would bite the bullet and go fine. But I'm not going to go out of my way to support a company that I don't even really want to buy their product for, you know? So... I'm not anything like in a hurry on it. And then the other problem is, and admittedly, I haven't gone back and tried to fix this since I last told you guys about it, but I'm still having that problem with my PlayStation account where, like, it got hacked at some point, like, months ago, and I still can't even get into it. So to play a new PlayStation game, I'm going to have to, like, start over with that and kind of eat some, extra money because... I'm not going to have access to games and data and stuff if I have to start over. Like, I'll have to rebuy some things, and that's partly why I've been putting it off. So, like, I'm not doing anything with PlayStation right now. I'm still hoping I can sort that out at some point, but it hasn't been a priority because I haven't been playing video games. So anyway, that's the long and the short of it. Now, also, when you say Super Chat goal for a full playthrough of that game, that's probably not super reasonable with me because I just am not good enough at those kind of games. So the best you'd get from me if I even agreed to do it would be I would probably do a playthrough, or I would probably do what I did with the last one and do like a couple 3 hours of it when I start it, and then play through it and then do a stream talking about it. Maybe bring on somebody else that's played it or talk about it on my own, but I would just do a review. I probably wouldn't try to do what I did with Arkham, because I always get like halfway through a game like that and then it gets too difficult for me to not look like terrible and boring. Like, I just don't want you guys to watch me get stuck someplace for 2 hours, because that's inevitably what'll happen. And I get very self-conscious about it. And...
He's not self-conscious about his looks at all, but if you're questioning his video game skills, that's where the self-conscious comes in.
Yeah.
But I think we've done it.
Have we really?
To the end of the super chats, we've talked about every naked character we could want.
Taking Spear, way to shame me, Cap. I just bought a PS5 last month. Nothing against anybody else. There's probably games you really want to play on it. I just don't care enough about a lot of stuff that's not retro. Is my whole problem. And I'm just telling you my feelings about the look of it and stuff. Like, I just think it looks goofy. So if a bunch of stuff came out for it that I really wanted, I would get one. But
yeah. What kind of games would have to come out for it if you to get you to buy it?
I have no idea. Well, there are some. Eventually, there's some superhero games that, like, enough of them all collectively might entice me a lot more. Like when that Black Panther Captain America thing comes out, if that's any good, and the Wolverine game, and like I would like to play RoboCop. Like there are a number of things that are on the horizon that I'm curious about, but still nothing enough to make me run out and spend, $400 or $500 on that system.
Oh, $500.
I don't think it's quite that much, but plus EDX, he ain't a true gamer. Yeah, I mean, whatever that means, it's definitely true. That's definitely true. Hot Soup Gotham Knights isn't worth it. I have exactly no interest whatsoever in that game.
Come on, you got to play Gotham Knights.
No, I don't. You can't make me.
You could do your ranking stream of the Gotham Knights. Wasn't that show also called Gotham Knights? What was that show called?
Yeah, it was. It was, and it had a really similar logo too.
You rank Gotham Knights. It's a 5-minute stream, or
where they both go in F tier.
Yeah,
probably.
I guess you'd have to actually watch them and play them.
Hayden Spring it is. Mine was 500. Yeah, I have looked them up a few times on Marketplace, and I can probably get one second hand for closer to like 350 or 4. So, I mean, I could get it a little bit cheaper.
Cap knows a guy. Cap's got a guy.
But then, the game is 70.
Yeah.
Because that's what new games cost now. And it looks like Nintendo is finally going to go that way, too. Like, I guarantee you when the Switch 2 or whatever they call it comes out, their first parties especially will all go to 70. They just tried to sell the Switch version of Mortal Kombat 1 for that much, and it's been a giant controversy because they had to downgrade it so far. It's the poorest looking game on the Switch, or at least it's up there. Like, it looks horrible, and they're trying to peddle it for 70. It's nuts.
Jeez. Oh no, I've unleashed the Gotham Knight comments about. They've just all been coming through.
Yeah, well, it's not like they're all going, no, you're wrong, it's great. Like, I'm not seeing that comment.
Well, they're all asking you to do a 24-hour stream or to do some ranking lists on it, or.
Oh no, on which thing though? The CW show or the game?
Well, Austin wants you to rank, of course, the Gotham Knights characters based on how bad you want to see them naked.
Okay, but Robert says the Gotham Knights show is a great idea for a 24-hour live stream to torture Cap. Is he talking about the game or the show?
Both, I guess.
Because either of those would probably work.
Both. I mean, it's 24 hours. You got plenty of time. You can
Hayden,
do both.
does anyone have one you can steal? I don't know anybody that has a PS5. Yeah, nobody in my life has one that I can think of. Anyway,
it'd be pretty crazy if Jason had one.
I don't get out as much as I used to either. But I don't think I know anybody right now that's got one. So anyway, yeah, probably not gonna happen. Here's the thing. I kicked around making it the like family present for Christmas this year for my family, but nobody's gonna play it. There's not enough stuff that my kids would want to play. So, I'm not gonna like gift myself a thing and call it the big family present, and then I don't even care that much about it either. You know what I mean? Like everything about that's terrible. For lots of reasons. Dagon Spear, I can't say I'm proud to admit there's only a few games I'd want to play on that. Imagine how stupid I felt when I just saw they're releasing a thin PS5. Yeah, but it's not really going to be any cheaper. Or much. Austin, I only know 3. My youngest brother, Dan 20, and Subject 879. Yeah, when I say I don't know anybody, I mean like locally that I could go grab one from. Like I can't borrow Dan's. He lives in New York.
That would be a fun video, though. A B&E on Dan's apartment.
Just so I can play that game?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's raiding his place and stealing his PS5.
Guys, we're 15 minutes over. Let's get going. I'll answer this real quick. Thomas Lowe, do you still play the Switch, Cap? Yeah, I do some. I mean, lately I haven't been playing games much in general, but when I do, it is typically the Switch. And that's the thing that my kids mostly play too. All right, we're going to get going. Thanks, everybody. We will be back with you tomorrow, Austin and I anyway, for the double feature for Mystery Men and Spawn. So come check
Dun, dun, dun.
Spawn. So come check those out. I gotta go finish preparing for that, and that's the last big thing this week. We'll be back next Thursday night for another one of these. This insanity. Thank you guys, especially Thomas Lowe, for getting us to the super chat goal so that we can do She-Hulk. Can't wait on that. But Austin and I are going to do another one of those, and let's get this last super chat. Thank you.
Yeah,
Claudia.
I need a super chat siren that goes off.
Thank you.
This is from Claudio Myron.
Claudio, yeah, it says let's celebrate their 5th super on a live stream. Not on my channel. Just I guess Geekvolution. I guess YouTube is keeping up with how often people leave super chats in general. And
wow.
But you know what? It's fine. I do what I'm told, regardless, and I don't worry about the consequences. So it says celebrate, so we're going to. So we're going to. And you know what? I don't recognize that name anyway.
And we have to get naked on this one because
you do what you want to.
you gave me permission.
He also doesn't care about the consequences. Okay, go ahead and read that, and we'll call it a day here.
All right. He says, or she says, Cap, would you rather win an Oscar for a performance or have someone else win an Oscar for a performance of Captain Logan?
Oh, definitely that second one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that would be way cooler to me if I was like immortalized in a movie and a great actor played me, you know, like Sterling K. Brown.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
As Captain Logan.
Spot on.
Change everything about me just so that it could be somebody awesome like Sterling K. Brown.
Well, in that version of you, he gets the power that you were talking. He gets the Purple Man power, and then that's what he does with it, just like you would.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say I don't want to win an Oscar just because I'm not a good actor and I know it would never happen. But that actually sounds kind of like, even if I somehow was a great actor and was in a movie and gave a great performance, it would be cooler to me somehow for some reason. I guess for acting. Now, I will say if I won an Oscar for screenwriting, that'd be different. That you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not really pursuing that kind of writing. Like, I'm not trying to make that kind of career for myself. But if I was, that would be the one thing that would be a way bigger deal even than somebody playing me in a movie and winning an Oscar. But that would be super cool.
Mm-hmm.
I've never thought about that.
Well, there you go. The 4th super chat of that individual brought it up for you.
The 5th one.
Oh, 5th.
We had to celebrate the 5th super chat. Yeah.
5th one. Right.
We didn't do that either. Robert said he preferred the gong.
Okay, we got to hang on. Can we go ahead and change the title of this stream to the Secret Naked Invasion or the Secret Naked Investment?
I'll think about it. Are you serious about that?
No, I wasn't, but that would definitely get people to click on it.
I think it would too.
We call it the Secret Naked Investment.
And then next week I do a tier list ranking of naked characters, and it's like, what is happening to this channel?
Who knows?
It's getting nuts.
All right. I think you're hitting your peak. I think this is where you hit your stride, and then someone actually wants to play you in a movie because you've peaked.
Yeah, maybe so. And then what we could be looking at tonight is the peak, and then the horrifying bitter end.
The spiral downfall
shortly around the corner. Anyway, everybody, thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed the show. We are indeed going to finish up, and you guys are great. We appreciate you. Thanks for all the super chats. Thanks for watching. This was lovely, and I've had a lot of fun, by the way, just this week in general on streams. We've had some folks pop in that I haven't seen before, and I've been having a lot of fun conversations with people on various topics, so thanks a lot for being here, guys. And in the meantime, I was Captain Logan, and this was DJ Martinez. Oh, I got to make the music go. All right, see you, folks. Oh, man.